and this kind of circles back, guys, to what it means for me to be here. You got to remember, like, me at Wyotek 2010, I'll get a little emotional. I'm sorry. But, like, I love pro touring cars, man. Yeah. And you got to think about what you guys were doing at that time. That Nova sits and performs the way it does. If you guys didn't drive this industry in the way you have, what would it be like?
Well, how did all this stuff start flowing in? You obviously got a bunch of cool-ass projects right now.
Yeah.
But people didn't just show up and they're like, hey, I want you to essentially scratch-build a Scout.
That's not how it works.
I don't think so. You had to have something. Which was the one that put you on the map? The Nova's pretty recent, right?
Yeah. The Nova's recent. So it's loyalty. It's taking care of the customer. Yes. It's doing whatever you have to do to make it right. And so many times, especially as builders, we know, like, we have part failures often, right? We fight parts, man. We do.
It happens.
And so many people just leave it up to us to eat the cost. And Casey's not one of those guys. Like, he's there for you. He's been there for me. He's bent over backwards. And I'll support him to the day I die, man.
You give it enough time, how many of my wild theories have came back to be true?
2.
3 as of today.
Oh, yeah. The wheel hub article.
It's out of control.
What?
I wish, going from right now, going forward, would you just give me a little bit more benefit of the doubt?
Oh, I absolutely will.
Okay.
You've had some
I wouldn't
wins.
because I know with that
You've had
great
some
power
fucking
comes
wins.
great responsibility.
Welcome, everybody, back. Another episode, Oil and Whiskey. This week, Michael Dascoli, or Dascoli. You can either way, right?
Yep.
Driven Speed Shop. It's been great, man. We got to know each other probably a little bit more than we had before at Triple Crown last year, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been dealing with Phil Smunt and some of the sales guys and stuff like that, but we had never really met or hung out. We saw the Nova, and then like most of us traveling chrome carnies do, you start showing up at the same shows and you start hanging out, and then you start staying a little later at the booth and getting kicked out of shows together from staying later and drinking and stuff like that, and we became good friends. And so it's a long time coming. We've been trying to put this together for about 6 months. Turns out you're a busy fucking man.
I just think you want to deal with the weather here in the winter.
It's tough coming all the way from Arizona, man. I mean, we appreciate you making the trip, dude. It means a lot. Come out here and shoot the shit with us. This is badass.
Means the world to me, fellas. I appreciate it, and I don't know that you guys quite grasp how much this actually means to me. So
awesome, dude.
Yeah,
well, we
appreciate it.
We like Josh said, we crossed paths. I think the way that you should, right? Mm-hmm. We're walking around and we see a badass Nova. I will say the stance definitely caught my eye, but the rest of the car was absolutely sick, and it grabbed us, and we're checking it out, looking in, and then you were right there, and super friendly, and it was great to meet you. And I just feel like that's always the recipe to making great friends in this industry is when that car captures you. I mean, we've all got friends, right? We're not necessarily in this to just go out to car shows, but when you see a car, it sucks you in, and then it happens to be a cool fucking dude behind it.
Yeah, and the customer too, Jeremiah.
Great.
Like, dude, great. He's there with his, family and stuff like that, and he's super excited. You don't have to draw attention to it.
Sorry, you're just fighting that thing too hard, and I'm thirsty.
Yeah, the car, the client, the recognition is really just kind of like a good. The way I feel like it should be is the way this car's went, which is an awesome feeling because we all know how hard it is to get there at times, right?
Oh, you got yourself a good customer too. I mean, he's bought in, he's excited, he's living his dream, and that's the way we talked about it a bunch on this. Is when you get the customer into it and meeting those people and living it. Now he understands so much more, right? He understands. He starts, gets those peek behind the curtain, so to speak, that we always talk about, and it's like
sure,
right.
Yeah, he gets all the good and the bad, which helps, right?
Definitely.
If
sure.
sees it all. But
and Mikey brought a gift. Still Austin. You sent me a text about this. This is a great pull because I see it pop up all the time, and I hear a lot of really good reviews, and I've just never never pulled the trigger, never bought one, never tried it. So
Well, this
here we
is
go. Go
this
ahead.
is limited edition. You said
Super
right?
limited edition.
Yeah, so I'm not a big whiskey guy. So I went into my local Total Wine and found the spirit guy and said, "Hey, bud, let's talk a little bit." And he pointed me in this direction, and it was he said it was a limited release. Just a couple stores in Arizona that are carrying it right now. So
It's just,
Got a good dark mahogany color.
yeah,
It has got a good color. Yeah,
everything always looks good in this particular glass. The color always looks great. You know,
it does.
compliments of
Blue sky.
guy, right?
Yep. It's a great glass.
All right. Well,
Cheers,
cheers,
boys.
boys.
cheers, fellas.
Yeah. That's exactly what I needed today.
Hey, you're telling me, buddy. You're telling me.
Yeah, that's good. Real good.
Single
No,
barrel.
that's good.
Single barrel cask strength. Certified Texas whiskey. Distilled by Still Austin. It's their own juice, their own goodness.
No shit.
116 proof.
You can taste it.
Yeah,
It hits you in the chest. That one gets you.
yeah.
But it's good, man. The marketing's really good on that stuff. I see it too. It's always sitting on the shelf. I did try one of them years ago.
Did you?
Didn't have great luck, but this is good stuff, man.
Yeah. I always
bad.
like when they got you get that proof, right? But you can get through the proof when it's got like that.
When it actually tastes good.
Yeah, when it's got that good thick spicy, like there's those times it's that's a great winter bourbon.
It's on the tail end.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I think the way that this podcast came together is it's like a podcast or a story in itself, which Josh, you may or may not remember. You know, we were hanging out at SEMA at the what's that barbershop
Oh yeah,
place we were at?
yeah. That
I
little.
think it's called the barbershop.
It is called
That little speakeasy deal in the Cosmo.
Yeah, I remember.
Having a great time, man. And I mean, we were getting it was many whiskeys in, a lot of whiskeys in. I think that was about the peak of Josh's. I don't know, like maybe you reached a high with your physique, I think, and it was
Okay.
It was going to your head at the time. If you were like,
This I know
was
what you're
getting a
going to go with this. This one wasn't me.
I think it, dude. I think it was. I think it was.
You think this one was my fault?
You were something happened that night. You were ready to you wanted to fight somebody. If
Well,
you were-
yes, but those two things can be true.
Yeah.
Yes, I was ready to fight somebody, but that was I didn't start that fight.
Well,
It's just
at
coincidentally
any
happened
rate,
upon
well,
you.
we're sitting there and we're hitting it off. We're having great fucking
Yeah,
conversations.
great time.
And I'm like, dude, you have got to come out to Chicago. You got to do the fucking podcast, man. I mean, I had a great time hanging out with you. And in the midst of all this, there's like some sort of a fucking scuffle.
It was a
And-
minor altercation.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but the guy was like kind of relentless. It seemed like it just kept going.
Yeah, until he got his ass kicked out. Yeah, that it got handled.
What started that?
I mean, just your normal, what should be a normal kind of bar thing, where there's
Just a
kind of
bump,
like
like
a
a
bump, you know,
contact,
right?
yeah.
And no problem. A bump's a bump. You know, that's not a big deal. It's a tight little space, right? Right above.
Right.
I think you saw what happened.
All I can say is that night, I didn't know didn't know you guys too much, but that night you guys are my homies. So whatever was about to happen, man, I was ready. So that's all I can say. I don't know what the hell happened, but
Vinny and Eden were there. You know, so Vinny was
Oh,
there
yeah.
too.
Vinny was
That's what it was. That's
Right.
what it was. It's because
But
Vinny,
Vinny
was
wasn't there.
You were looking you have got to show Vinny that like you're still worthy. That-
Vinny wasn't at the bar when that happened, though. It just so happened when we were leaving the bar to go into the casino area.
I think
Then-
it's 100% that you are deathly afraid that Vinny thinks that you're too soft now. And
Let
it's
him
been
know
a
you're still
long
He told me
time.
he told me because you shaved your head that you looked way more badass than me, and I looked soft.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Right,
fuck
so
yeah.
it's-
See how soft I am now, motherfucker. No, it was a standard little bump thing, right? And then it was kind of like turn around, Mike, eye contact, and I moved a little bit, and then he kind of gave me 3 more like hard bumps to kind of say that yeah, I'm here. So then at that point, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be a bitch, you know. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I told him what I thought. He didn't like that. And then I reiterated it so maybe he would understand better of what I thought. And then I gave him a little shove. But then his wife or girlfriend decided to step in.
You clocked her.
No.
You just punched her.
Right
I couldn't believe you
cross.
punched her right in the
No.
face. Dude.
So I told him, where he probably learned it from, and he probably should do something with her.
They also didn't like that.
Man, it turns out he didn't like that at all. So then we kind of separated, and then he came back looking for more, and then did a little spill of a drink, and then at that point it was
It's time for him
on.
to go.
It was on, yeah. So
Is this normal for you, Josh?
no,
100%
No.
it is, because this is coming right off the last podcast where I was talking about
This is not a
the
normal
percentage
thing.
of
That's not
the percentage of outings that are accompany a Josh altercation.
this is not what I want out there.
Okay, well then maybe you just need to like tone it down. Take a deep breath next time.
I love his recap of the events.
His or mine?
His.
Are they accurate? Do you think, or
They're
you just
not
enjoy-
lies. They're not the most truthful.
Oh, well,
It's a very political recreation of it.
yes, I can tell a good story.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's
You get to tell however you want.
yeah. Oh, I don't. Yeah,
Dude, we're gonna start keeping tally, because as I'm thinking about this, it's like it's going. I don't want to derail the podcast, but at the same
God
time,
forbid.
yeah, I'm like, dude, Nashville. We went to Nashville because we're talking about the show. There was an altercation in Nashville, downtown Nashville. You remember that?
Josh.
Just walking down the street or crossing the street. I mean, there's tens of thousands of people, right? You get to a point in your life where you take it with a grain of salt. You're like, oh, dude's,
Sure.
I don't count
dude's-
that's an altercation.
Dude's hammered drunk. He's just bumped into me, whatever. Josh, there's no wiggle room on that for Josh. It was full fucking throttle. Again, it was same walking across, guy bumps you, and it was like, hey, motherfucker, what the? And then
I
it
was
just-
drunk then, too.
Not that drunk. I intervened on that one. I'm like, dude, knock it off.
That was later night.
Yeah.
Right. You've been there for most of them. You telling me that my storytelling of it seasons those?
It may put a slightly different seasoning on it. It's a different lens you're viewing it through.
It's like a good piece of meat that you just put a little salt on. Like, it's pretty accurate. It's just like, it's engaging. You make it entertaining. I like the recap of it. I honestly do.
I like being there, seeing it, and then hearing you describe it.
Yeah.
It's much better.
It's way better being there.
So yeah, I'm gonna start being a little more cognizant of every single one of these, because it seems like just about every outing.
So I should be a little more open and accepting.
You could do whatever you want. I just want to like keep the statistics. That's going to be my job. I'm
Okay.
not going to be there to stop it.
Okay. All right.
I'm just going to
I'll start being a little more
observe.
a little more open and loving to my surroundings.
Yeah.
Hey, look, obviously didn't hinder, right? We've stayed friends. He stayed customer, right? He's out here for the podcast.
No, I think it
right?
built the bond. Yeah.
I mean, I even heard him say, he's like, man, fuck, I wasn't going to do the podcast. That dude seems a little badass.
He's probably
I heard him
worried.
say that.
He's probably worried that he's going to see at the next show.
I'll be the next guy. Next
No, the secret to not getting your ass whooped is only doing that kind of shit with people that you've got at least 60% chance. That's a big old boy. We're gonna be super nice, right?
I want to see you going out with Wegner and his boys behind you.
I could do. I would do that. Yeah.
I feel like, dude, Casey getting hit would be like hitting an ox.
Oh yeah.
He'd just take it. Like,
Oh yeah. Casey's a good guy to have around.
just
that's for
absorb it. Like,
I've never worried about like talking louder because there's a group with you. I don't look for that shit. But if it's, yeah. But I would
talk a lot more
I would
shit.
talk a lot more shit with them.
All right, back to the cars.
Yeah, back to the cars. So you've won. We're going to jump all over. We've talked about the Nova. We'll get back to the Nova thing. I was just scrolling through the Instagram a little bit earlier. You've got a mess of projects, and all of them on Roadster Shop chassis, but you got some serious damn builds going. Like
Yeah.
heavy hitter shit.
Yeah, man, we've been fortunate enough to somehow come across some solid opportunity to spread our wings a little bit and kind of show the world what we're capable of and kind of how serious we take car building, you know.
How did all this stuff start flowing in? You obviously got a bunch of cool ass projects right now.
Yeah.
But people didn't just show up and they're like, "Hey, I want you to essentially scratch build a Scout."
That's not how it works.
I don't think so. You had to have something. Which was the one that put you on the map? The Nova's pretty recent, right?
Yeah. The Nova's recent. So the first one that white one right there, up one, Josh, that white one, that's Ghost. That's another Nova that we had built, and that's really that might even be the first Roadster Shop chassis we ordered.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be an IRS fast track Nova unibody platform, And so that car, as we were building it and through social media, kind of solidified to some local clients that, we weren't messing around, and we had what it took to get through some of these projects. So
that's a good looking car's postcard too. Huh?
That's a postcard, man.
Cool.
Yeah, I fell in love with the postcard. Yeah, it was customer wanted a postcard from the beginning, and I had tracked it down for him out of Tucson, and yeah, we hammered it down on one of your chassis and got through the fab work. That wasn't a fit and finish car by any means, but it was very well built, and it was the customer offered a glimpse of an opportunity, and we did what we had to do to show up with something cool. So that one's just been local shows. We never really showed it hard, but
You got a pros pick there, a good guy.
Yeah,
but that's Tim. He can't see.
Who's that?
Tim Palazzolo. Gap.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, he's the one that did the pros pick there.
He can't see?
Not well.
Where'd you hear that?
When he was out here, remember he talked about don't make fun of me. I'm half blind.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Maybe we didn't. It got edited out, but I'm pretty sure. I'm just giving everybody shit.
Yeah, when I first opened my shop, I was doing. I'm more of a speed shop tech and kind of a speed shop fabricator. Headers and air intake tubes and
go fast shit.
Go fast shit.
That's stuff that makes the car work.
Yeah, for sure. And then when I started my own shop, I took on I built a sand car body out of aluminum, and it was all for pennies and never made a buck doing anything. But I was really passionate about the sheet metal stuff. So and really just the getting deeper into metal fabrication as a whole. So as I started doing that, it just seemed like the work kept trickling in, and word kept spreading around town that there was kind of a new kid on the block, I guess.
Damn.
So we're doing a lot of local shows and nothing.
Not all that much. I mean, we definitely showed up at local shows. Always been the good guy stuff, but never put a whole lot of effort and mix into showing off. We'd host open houses and always had a little bit of a social media presence, but.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because you put together some pretty cool stuff, but you're also geographically located in a affluent area. So, do you think that contributes to it? Versus the dude who's got a bunch of skills and he's out in the fields of Iowa.
Yeah.
Is it harder for him to build a car and get it out there, and people say, "Dude, your fucking cars are badass," and I want to send you something? Do you think that region generates that, more customers out there?
Man, I'm trying to gather my thoughts on that opinion. I don't know that I have one. I'm just a young guy out there working and
see what comes in the door.
Yeah, dude. So obviously, whatever the formula's been's worked. So I think geographically, yes, Arizona, Scottsdale area, it's popping over there, man. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. So, and timing is always plays a role. We in 2017 is when I got the keys to the shop, and that's a pretty good time for the custom car world.
Great time.
It was. So I think, geographically, and then timing wise, and then obviously digging as hard as we need to dig to take care of the customers, kind of been the formula, right?
What was your background prior to all that? I mean, you just always had an interest in it, or we got to hear a little bit about we can't just be oh, I got a shop and hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
Should we go? We got to go way back.
Yeah,
way back. Yeah. So my dad was we're from New York, and my dad's an East Coast BOP guy, and not a mechanic, not a car builder, not anything like that, but he loves cars. He's a car guy. So I grew up with, he has 65 Rivy,
Cool.
And like a 67 Buick Wildcat, some big cars, right? And so he was always into cars. We never, growing up, and I want to be careful how I word this. We had a great upbringing. Always had everything we needed. It was loving family, supported everything. We didn't have an abundance of much, right?
Sure.
Somehow he got his hands on the Rivy through the times. It was a full-blown miracle, I think. But
I mean, he's an Italian guy in New York. Who knows?
yeah, right. His name's Vito, too. So anyway, as I got a little bit older, we weren't. He was not a hunting, fishing type, riding type guy, but we played with slot cars and trains, and that's kind of what we did. So I remember being 12 years old and really getting in the slot cars and the old Auroras, man, like the stuff from the 60s, and
Sure.
we'd take them apart and we'd solder the armatures and we'd play with them, and I remember just being obsessed with that. And
That was go fast stuff then. I mean,
That was go
all you're
fast.
doing is making it go faster.
Yeah. Well, he always had. He worked out of the house. He was an architect, and every Christmas time he'd kind of clear out his office space, and we'd set up the trains and the slot cars. It was a thing, and I want him to know like that played a huge part in like tinkering with things. I think, right?
I can imagine.
Yeah, like big time. So as I got a little bit older, we played baseball growing up. Baseball was a kind of a big thing for our family. And when I was 16, sophomore year, got through tryouts with baseball. And just prior to tryouts, there's this dude that was, his name's Joe Dahl, Joe's Hot Rod Shop. Shout out, Joe. I love you, man. He had his own little hot rod shop, and he was a good friend of my best friend's father. So I had like someone in our group that was into building hot rods, and they knew I was interested in cars. They knew me and my dad were always tinkering, and we'd pull Mickey Thompson valve covers on his Cutlass, and we'd change the intake manifold, and we fuck with carburetors or whatever. Like that was what we did. So anyway, old man Joe from Joe's Hot Rod Shop asked me, "Hey, dude, you want to come moonlight at the shop and work on some hot rods?" I'm like, yeah, of course. So I did that for a while, and a couple months, and then baseball tryouts, and like I wasn't able to go to the shop as much, and then season was about to start up, and I went home and told my dad. I said, "Dad, I'm not playing ball." And he goes, "Really?" "Yeah, I'm not. What are you gonna do?" I said, I'm going to the hot rod shop." I remember I was boxing a frame for a 50 Chevy truck, and we had it all fixtured to the ground, and I was learning that process. We were doing tubular cross members, and I was like so freaking obsessed with everything that was going on there. And so I told coach that I wasn't going to play ball anymore, and that was the last time I ever played a sport, and just went to the hot rod shop every day after school instead of going play ball.
Dude, I'd like to know statistically if more people, if you have a better chance of making it as a pro baseball player or a professional hot rod builder.
What's the stats on that? Right.
It could be pro baseball player.
Being successful as a pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that was kind of it, man. Once I got the taste of building hot rods, kind of get this internship through high school when I was 16. I never looked back. It's the only job I've ever had. It's the only thing I've ever done.
Damn.
That's awesome. I don't want to glaze past. You're talking about your dad doing the slot car stuff, and we hear it a lot of times about what. There's always a different thing. Like, what's the thing that sparked, right? There's always a little thing that like it's a flicker, and it's like, oh shit, it's an addiction. Hell.
Yep.
But something that's important for the majority of people that I know and that, we've gotten to know on this is the scale of the project at such a young age. It's almost like starting a fire, right? If you're starting a fire, you get a spark and you get an ember. The worst thing to do is just throw a shit ton of wood on top of it instantly, right? Because that fire doesn't have time to grow.
You toss gas on it.
Right.
That's where I was going to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Without gasoline, right? And, from a Boy Scout fire, right? Starting a fire,
Well,
and then
you're a
you've
Boy
got
Scout, so you're not doing anything cool. Like you're doing weird shit already.
the analogy will
You're
work if you'll
drawing a
let
good
me
analogy.
let me get through there, right? So, and it's baby steps, right? It's the next thing, and then you've got your little bundle, right? And then you get that to burn, right? Then you've got your next step up of,
keep
kindling,
wanting more.
and you just keep putting it in there. We've had some people on here, in the past few, but far between. There's been guys that was like, well, hey, at 13 years old, I was working this job. I saved up some money. I bought this car. First thing I did, yanked the motor out of it, did this, cut the floors out of it. You're starting on a big project. And if you're built that way and you're the type that can keep going through, that's really great.
Sure.
But at least the newer generation, the ones I know, I'm relating to, to my son and, even people that we've hired in the last 15 years. It's really tough to continue drudging through when you don't get any of the satisfaction of the project's completion, right?
Sure.
So there's sometimes that knowing the type of person you are, knowing the stuff, like you would go and work on that, slot car, you do the stuff, you could do the things you need to do, put the body back on it, and then you can run it that night and see
20 minutes.
the fruits of your labor.
Absolutely.
And then it exponentially grows
Sure.
that much faster. I think it's very important for, younger kids stuff to get in. It's like there is nothing wrong than like, I'm going to get this car, I'm going to lower it, but get it back to a driving state so I can enjoy it being lowered. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do that stuff versus being like, I'm going to go here to a Riddler.
3 years later, it's going to be
And
there.
after a while, he's kind of like, man, this is a never-ending project. As you grow, then what seems like a never-ending project seems to be easier and easier and easier time frame-wise. Because now you can look at it. I remember vividly the first guy that I ever talked to that came in and was like, I'm about to pay you money, and you can just take it from a body that needs everything and finish it and build it.
Okay.
Start to finish. And you're looking at that and you're like, oh my God, this is the dream, but at the same time it seems like an insurmountable task.
You needed fencing around that, right? You needed
a stage 1 Lego kit and then a stage 2.
Well, we had staged ourselves up to that, but that was a big jump from like, hey, we're going to do a motor swap, or hey, we're going to do paint and body. Hey, we're going to do that. So when that happens, now once you get those under your belt, then it's like, you have the meeting with the customer and you're like, okay, we could wedge chop this, we could section this, we can do that. We'll have so-and-so, we'll design the wheels, we'll build that. That doesn't seem like an insurmountable task anymore because you've staged your way up there. Like if somebody were to come in right now and be like, hey, I know that nobody would shy away from the challenge. However, it would be a daunting task. They're like, all right, I'm not even thinking car. Just think of thing that could move people, right?
I'm thinking of an organic shape.
And it's also got to be fascinating. If you just started with absolutely no guardrails and like design it, you're like, well, hell, okay, cool. I've got some ideas in my mind,
Yeah.
But
Well, you almost psych yourself out.
100% psych yourself
somebody
out.
to give you
Sure.
a little bit of criteria and some boundaries.
Right. So I think it's important for people, even shops that are existing right now that, maybe it's the, biting off more than you could chew or whatever it is. It's like you've got to have from a psychological standpoint from your employees and you as a shop owner, you got to have the wins, right? And if you set yourself up for like everything I'm going to do is a struggle and the win is 3 years from now, man, that's a lot to ask for some people, along the way, right? Until you get to that point where they're trained to know that, hey, the win is we're going to get these floors in today, right? The floors in today is going to be a win, right? Doing these tubs faster than we did tubs on the last one, right? And making them nice and cutting some stuff out.
That's the win. That's
the win, right? But you got to get your entire shop and your staff trained to that way to realize that in and of itself is a win.
Oh, totally, man. Yeah, definitely. And I think you made a good point, man. Kind of training up and it's not like we just dove into building cars. It literally started like, I remember thinking, when I got my first quad and we went riding and come back and the thing's filthy and thinking like, well, I could pull the body off the slot car with a couple bolts. How many bolts are holding this body on this quad? And like after every ride, we'd rip it, tear it down, and clean it, and next thing you know, we got the head off, and we're porting the just taking things apart and playing with it. And
well, you think about like an impressionable kid. Fortunate. Oh Jesus!
Oh boy,
that's a first.
That's a first.
Hey, hit the cam. Hit the.
It's not working right now. Man,
a little whiskey on that.
I just feel
you're all thumbs today.
I am. We were praising that glass, and it.
It's the glass's fault.
Yeah, 100%.
Sure.
It's got a narrow
one
base.
oddball?
So, dude, that's what happens. Waffle House napkins. That's what happens when you stop working on cars and you start working more on computers. And I'm not giving him shit because I'm in the same boat, but you lose the dexterity. You know, you start getting like, you know, your hands start turning into like, like you got mittens on.
Yeah. I was metal finishing an air intake tube the other day, and my forearm started getting a little fatigued. I'm like, God damn, I got to get back out in the shop, I guess.
But what I was saying, it's interesting to see. My son's really into like crazy into cars and stuff, and likes doing things in the garage. And when you see how it, like how they perceive creating something, even something small, you know, I psych myself out because what I do for a living is kind of like what Josh says. You've got these monumental fucking projects. So for me to just go pick something up and like, hey, let's go in the garage and let's like weld something small together. So like some small project. It's like I psych myself out because I'm like, well, no, we're going to either build something from scratch. Like we have to build the frame, we have to build the body, we have to. But little things we've done, like we've gone in there, I built him like, you know, a little wooden half pipe for his little fingerboards and stuff. And, you know, we build some little like cool little boxes for his knives and things. And it's to see the light go off and to see how blown away that this is something that didn't exist. And it's like, it's cool as a dad because I'm like, this sucks. But it's like at the same time, he thinks it's the coolest fucking thing he's ever seen.
Totally.
Right. But to see something that didn't exist, it came from nothing, came from flat pieces. And then their wheels start turning that it's like, well, you can create things. You know, this is crazy.
Right.
Yeah. We're doing something, man.
Yeah.
It just is so much better than nothing, right? It could be the smallest thing that'll strike the passion and whatever it is. It doesn't need to be with making things. I mean, obviously that's what we all lean to in talking about, especially on this podcast, but,
do you at least like finger joining or like dovetail it or something in the corner?
Yes,
All right.
that I did do.
All right.
It took a while to figure that out. But it looked cool. It's pretty cool.
You always you never take into account the step over. It's the step over the thing, and you're like, oh, I just did two males.
So, dude,
it doesn't work.
You know, my dad was a great woodworker, but like dovetails and joinery, he never had patience for shit.
He didn't have time for it.
So I just made it. I went out I don't know, a couple months ago. Just went out and spent the whole weekend almost in the garage just fucking with the dovetail jig and the router to just figure. It was just one of those things that I know he couldn't do it. He sucked at it.
And you wanted to
do
conquer
this.
it.
I'm going to do this really good.
Yeah.
How many things did you throw across?
No, believe it or not, that I had so much pain. I fucked up. Like the whole first day, I just kept fucking up. I couldn't get the depth. Couldn't get too deep, too shallow. Wouldn't engage. The fucking dovetails would like crack off. And I was like, it was honestly strange because you know me. Usually that shit would be through the fucking window. I'd be screaming fucking.
But it was the challenge because
but I was like,
upstairs.
I'd fuck it up and yeah, that's kind of weird. Okay, and like I was very calm, cool, and collected. And I actually enjoyed it. I didn't even make. I made just. I was just making 90s, like just joining 90s.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You know, I think the point being that the industry fucking psychs you out because you're used to doing these over the top things all the time. That like it's so hard to do little tasks. Yeah. You cannot like dumb it down.
Oh yeah.
Very hard
to do. I mean, you know, this shit you do, like in your basement and stuff. It's a little over the top. It's cool.
Sooner or later, you're kind of like, all right, like now we just got to get this thing. We got to get it done, right? We need to finish this basement up. But at the same time, even with those challenges and the overthinking stuff, it is I find it relaxing and refreshing and a change of pace. It's the only way that you can get your mind because how am I going to phrase this? I think that a lot of people in this industry are very similar, right? So you're fixated on what you're fixated on. Your mind works a certain way in a certain pace, right? So everyone's like, oh, you need a little bit of downtime. Hey, if I could just get a vacation. Well, on a vacation, like if we ever have a vacation, I can't just sit there and turn my brain off. Right? I can't just sit there and just be like, you know what, zone out. I'm going to give this thing a rest. I'm just going to watch the ocean, right? Sure. Or I'm going to do that. I can't.
It's like 38 seconds.
It's got to keep working. So I found, and it's taken me a while to figure out that the relaxation can come from, or the rest, or the taking a break from the day to day, can come from letting your mind work the same way it does, right, on stuff, but on something different. Right. Yeah. So if it's figuring out a gun build or a new problem or hey, we're going to do this, but or if it's, doing the basement or even some of the projects we've done in the house recently, it's like my mind works the same way. So it doesn't seem like should be a rest and relaxation, but it is, because you're thinking about different problems. So I find that I like that.
You got my wheels turning now. I'm seeing like a potential opportunity for you.
You know how you go in your favor already.
No, I think it is. I
Sure.
think yeah, you want, like, it's so popular, all the stuff on TV with the home remodeling stuff and like the quick makeovers, and there's always like, it's either two gay dudes and it's like really over the top, or it's like some like.
I'm pretty sure you've already named this show.
Well, there's some
I don't
chick.
know if this is
There's some chick who's doing it and her husband supports her. There's this like DIY stuff, but there's none where it's just like the redneck dude with a cutoff shirt that's like got a Newport hanging out of his mouth, that's bitching like at his wife to just leave me the fuck alone. But it's doing really cool shit. Like Josh has done, he's redid his whole house by himself, and it's really badass.
Nice.
But that would be, dude, it would be.
You think people would watch that?
I think so. It's a total departure from the mainstream of what it is. You've seen Sunday Josh with the cutoff fucking shirt and like the
Get
cargo
these fucking
shorts.
dogs out of here before I fucking pin them to the wall.
God damn, Jody, what the fuck's for dinner? Fuck.
Yeah. The weekend problem.
It'd be a show. It would be a show.
Fucking cigarette going, like screaming.
Go back to my earlier comment. Might need to be animated
Yes.
just to get away with a little bit
Right.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is. I mean, there's times, and we've talked about it a lot. There's times that, you do find that you're not giving your mind a break. You're giving your mind a workout on something different, right? It's a change. The mind's just a muscle, right? Mm-hmm. So if it's been doing the same exercise over and over and over and over and over, it needs a break. It still needs to exercise. Sure. It just needs to do a different type of exercise.
But what do you do with it? Because you're still active in the shop, right? You're still, you're fabricating on the daily.
Man, it's probably not on the daily. No, I would say 10 hours a week, probably hands-on physically. We haven't got through all the story yet, but we have 2 locations, so that we kind of spread a little thin on time, But I got 3 young kids as well, so I think I'm still in that phase where
Got a lot on your plate.
Yeah, dude, like after work, and the weekends, it's wide open with the kids. So I don't.
3 of them.
When the wife's like,
man,
Mikey, I need like the shelf. We need like a shelf built, or like,
not a fucking
I need
chance.
you to do this. Nope. Is it total neglect on the home front, or when you actually get involved in a project, how does the project go?
So, we've only done a few. Luckily, we bought like a new home where it didn't fucking need much, which was where it was dialed, right? So, the last one we did, we built my wife some planters out back. Me and my boy. Yeah. We went obviously
over the top.
Oh yeah, dude. They're built out of like 14 gauge, and they're broke, and they're 9 feet long, and they got maple wood and like.
Yep.
Little
if you're gonna do it,
and
if you're gonna do it,
yeah, they're fucking sick though. You walk in the backyard and these 4 of these things against the wall, and they look gangster. But my boy welded them, and
nice.
Me and my wife went down to the shop and used my 8-foot brake to bend them one Saturday. It was like it's so. I think we got the garage set up to where I got a bandsaw at home and TIG welder and the bench and everything. So like we scratched the itch enough, But then we got the 2 little girls that. They want to jump on the trampoline and go swimming and do gymnastics, right?
Yeah, so the kids' things change stuff up.
It changes it all.
Mine are older. I will say I found, talking back about doing stuff around the house, I found the secret, though.
What's that?
This is the thing. For years, obviously my kids were younger at 1.2, and there's always things in the way. But I worked a lot and was not around as much. And it was always a project of something nagging. It was always, Jody being like, hey, this weekend, could you do like this thing or hang this, right? Well, number one, I didn't want to do that, right? So that was the first and foremost. No, I don't want to do that, right? So I'm going to find a bunch of other reasons to not do it. And work is generally what I'd rather do, so I've got work, right? So a long time went on. Well, as the kids get a little older, right, and work changes a little bit, and what I found is I'd put those things off, and then finally it's like, all right, fucking tired of hearing about it, right? So I'd go do that. Well, then that project would generally take me longer than what I anticipated. So it would take me longer. But then I realized once I started that project, one, she had no idea how long it's supposed to take.
How many times do you need to go to Home Depot?
Number 2, it's the second I start on the project, it's like
Silence.
don't bother your dad. He's on a project, right? And then it's every 10 minutes. Hey, you want a snack? You want to make you something or whatever? Hey, you've been working hard out there.
This is why
Kind of
it
gets
should be a show.
kind of gets me going. Tonight might be a little so you start realizing, like, man, I'm doing this, and I'm also, she's not going to ask for a single other thing in the midst of this.
You're making it look significantly more labor intensive.
Yeah, because then it can take one little project could take the entire weekend, and it gets me peace and nothing but treats for the entire weekend. So, like, can you hang that curtain rod? I could, and I will.
But
But
my shoulder after.
thing you got to
after
understand
putting up
about
that
so
sewing unit.
you're wanting to take that curtain rod and raise it to a height that nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, that's
Like,
a load bearing wall. You got to keep
that's
it in mind.
I can do it. I can, but that's going to be a project.
Should start a training.
That one's
Should start a training seminar.
that's going to take some time. I'm going to have to figure out how to what to angle. So then that's a run to Home Depot. Hey, you're going to Home Depot a lot. Yeah. Got talking to a guy about the anchors and stuff, and I think we've got it figured out of what's going to happen.
Set up
And
the laser level.
that
of
is-
shit going everywhere. Looks
It's the secret.
I've never played that.
It's the
Because
secret.
once I'll put it off forever.
Yeah.
But once I get started, like I have to finish it as fast
Yeah.
as possible.
Mm.
like something I think from Dad. You just get started. It's got to get done
Yeah,
instantly. It'd be
it's-
I
full
have to
throttle, dude.
finish the project. Once I start the project, I cannot stop until the project's finished. So if we start something on a Saturday morning, right? It could be we're going to add an addition, right? We're going to put a second floor on the house. If we started on Saturday, Sunday evening, it's got to be wrapped, right? I'm not living in the house the next week in a construction project, right? It's got to be wrapped. But at the same time, I will not rush through the project. Like every step along the way, it's got to be done. It's never going to be like, oh, fuck, I got to get this done. I'm going to do this. No,
You're just gonna hack it.
I'm going to fucking do the thing the way it needs to be done.
Okay.
Right? At least to the best of my ability. I'm not good. It's not like I have
Yeah.
any skill. So I'm just doing normal shit. But
I mean, I try to maintain a decent,
work-life balance.
well, a decent
Pace.
level of professionalism when I do it. I want it to look nice, but at the same time, I fucking hate disruptions. So if it means all of a sudden I'm like short some fasteners and I got to go to Home Depot, I will figure out a way to like forge a quarter 20 from like I will be looking at them like, well, a
I don't
little,
wanna
bit of
fucking
fire.
have to
If I've
jump
got
in the
a
truck.
die set, like so if I can mash this together and then like
Yeah.
Melt a bunch of zip ties
Yeah.
around it. Get some.
Dude,
good-
I can't. That's
God,
why I
it's
can't
nothing.
work at the
I
house.
will-
Same exact.
Worse.
thing.
I won't
If I
do
gotta
a.
go somewhere, bro.
I won't do a like a parts run or a store in the middle of the day. Like
brutal.
I'll work around whatever that is, and that's a morning thing. Like, all right, what time they open at 7? I'll be there at 6:55. I'll run in there, get that, and get back.
No way
the
you're
thing.
getting it first shot, dude.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I was about to say.
No
like
way.
any plumbing project, you're
dude.
back 17.
Oh, you got to fill the card up. You
but
fill
then
the card up, and then I send her back to take it all back because I'm not doing it. But it's just like
then you
plumbing a car
always-
back in the day.
Better
but-
off buying out like an old plumber first.
I think
Yeah.
245s and a 90 will get it. Give me 1745s, 180, and there's
Dude, I'll tell you the
1690s.
secret to that. Keep an eye on Facebook Marketplace because I'd say once every couple months, there's a hardware store that sells. And all the fucking little drawers
I've bought that
Dude.
shit before.
go up
We've
for
done those
sale.
auctions.
Dude, I saw
Yeah.
one, it was like,
Bring 'em home?
it
Yeah.
was like 15 grand. And I was so close. If I had the space, I would have fucking bought it. Because it's every drift pin, every
Yeah.
spring. It's
It's
like,
it's awesome. I've
Yeah.
done it. I've literally done. Me and my father-in-law have bought
Really?
those out before. Yeah, we bought the entire electrical department.
okay.
Right, like a little local
Ace or-
a hardware store. We bought one aisle of all electrical. Right, so that was for everything from butt connectors all the way up to wall plugs and switches. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, truckloads of this stuff.
What, just to flip it or to keep it? And
Kept it and used it a long way. We sold a lot to my brother-in-law was an electrician, so we sold a lot of that stuff to him. Right, but then also it came with like the end cap was like all your chains and cable. Right, so it was the spools of chain and all your like braided steel cable. So spools, and it came with the
They
rack
have
and,
any,
and the cutter.
Woodruff keys in there?
No, none of the key stuff. But I mean,
that's
I
a
used
Ace hardware
this was probably 20 years ago, or 18 years ago. But I literally have used. I still have some of the stuff now, like in drawers and stuff. And it's always been like, oh, you need to hang and pick. Guess what? I got cable. I got a spool of cable,
got
and it
some
came with the
self-tapping.
cutter that's mounted and all that kind of stuff. Like it is. But you're like when you can have the space to stock that and store that,
Dude.
it gets you out of trouble so much.
I mean, the problem is the length of it. You need a good like 100-foot run of wall.
Yep.
Yeah, but man, that's just like you can't
Get a shipping container, put it out back,
Well,
48 feet on each side.
That would be perfect if you
It
could.
would be great.
The HOA would probably not like the shipping container, but if you put that fucker underground,
Yeah, it's
and
a
that
bunker.
would be perfect because you could almost get a row in the middle too.
No, put it out back, and then have Jeremy Senior come and
Let her-
airbrush it like the background. It would be like you couldn't even see it.
I've
Like,
been
that's
watching-
trees.
Yeah,
I've been
I've
seeing
seen
some
So
of that stuff.
it's
Yeah.
shit disappears. That shit full blown
But
disappears.
dude, I promise you. I mean, it'll be like when the time comes that I'm ready for it, I won't be able to find it, but that is going to happen. That's going to be something in my garage at some point. Is I'm fucking buying like a True Value or an Ace
Gonna
hardware.
feel like
just-
you're
The
walking
plumbing
in the air
section,
saving.
the plumbing section,
yeah.
you're 100%. You hit the nail on the head on the plumbing section because to be a standardized thing, right?
There's
you
like
have
4 fittings, right?
it should be.
There's a T, a Y, a 90, and a coupler. And
No,
that's it.
But there's distances that you just can't.
Yeah.
They made it the first time, but when you take it apart, you can't remake that distance in those angles. It physically does, which is why they have like the whole row of like the flexi ones. Like, you know what? I don't know what to tell you. Buy these and like, but bend it around. This
Yeah.
shit's nuts.
A universal P-trap is generally made up of 6 different kits to get that P-trap from the sink to the wall. Every time.
That's another one though. I always find you're probably the same way when you're used to like building things and problem solving. The thing you think you need never exists. So when you're looking at Home Depot, whatever project you have, your mind can't work off the things that are available to you.
No.
It's always it doesn't exist. Like
Right.
so, in my old house, I made the whole P trap out of stainless. Just TIG welded it because it didn't exist. I'm like, how? There was no way to do it. But a fucking you'd call a plumber for like $100.
Yeah, he just
jam
I
that
got
thing in
this,
there, but I'm looking
and he's
at
got it
like,
in his pickup truck.
Yeah,
like he didn't have to go to the
Like,
store.
Nothing.
It's
No.
impossible. They don't have it.
Right.
It doesn't exist. I got to I got reducers and I got like mandrel bends and
I am finding as getting older though. I'm starting to release a little bit or relinquish a little bit of the like. No, I'm not paying anybody to do it. I'll do it. Right. There's times where you come and you start looking at it. And you're like,
that worked
that's
out
something
good
I
on-
really don't want to
That
do.
worked out good on that whiskey shelf.
That did not. No, that didn't. That was. Yep. We had to work through that one. Hey, it's good now.
Yes.
Right. And I took care of it. But the other day, we redid the master bedroom and hallway stuff. Right. So part of that was changing out we changed out all the plugs and switches in the walls. Right, to the whole house. Right.
That's a brutal task, too, because those never go back in and you can't get
So
them to line up.
you know she goes through and Jody's a good job. You know she doesn't. I mean, it's easy when you don't have a job, so you can do a good job at not having a job. So
Yeah, that one's got to be cut out. Read the opening.
You are going to be doing a
Yeah,
lot
this is
of
not
hard
good.
work
she
around the
doesn't
house.
listen to this. Who gives? she's too busy not working. So she ordered everything. She got it all in. So I'm doing everything in there, and then she's like, "Hey, I got all these wall plugs and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not something that I really care to do." Well, you're gonna hire an electrician. I mean, you can do it. Her dad was an electrician. Her brother-in-law's an electrician. So it's like, well, I mean, if Kenny was here, he could do it. Yeah, well, Kenny's not here, right? Kenny's not here. Kenny lives in Alabama. And I'm not Kenny. I don't do that. And I don't really want to do it. Well, you can. You've done it before. You did it on so-and-so. Yeah, just, you know what? I don't want to do it. Well, so-and-so's husband's an electrician. I'll call him. Call him. Absolutely call him. Then she calls back. She's like, hey, so-and-so, he's going to come in and do it on Sunday. I was like, okay. She's like, well, he's going to charge $150 for the whole house. Well, you better give him a fucking $100 tip because
It was weird. It's weird. He ended up, from what I heard, he ended up not charging anything.
that's fine. That's
were-
great.
We were out of town.
Yeah.
We were at a show.
We were at a show. That's fine. So it didn't cost me $150 is what you're saying.
Yeah. She took care of him, I guess.
But you get
I
that
thought
and
that's
you're
where
like
that was going.
you're putting plug you know somebody puts plugs in and you know he was there literally like 3.5-4 hours and you're like that's money well spent because they work. You plug things in, they work. They look good. The lights work. They go on and off. And that's something that because you're right. They go in that one time.
They're crooked. and just
There's
drive
no
you
getting them
fucking
straight,
crazy.
and then I got to have it. You know, it needs to be pulled up to the wall. So like, there's just you know what? Just let the guy do the thing. I'm also a little scared of house electricity.
Yeah, I'm scared to death that I'm going to come
Oh,
back
for sure.
3 weeks
Burn it
later and
down.
it's going to be on fire.
That's same thing. I'll go back and I'll wrap them in electrical tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go heavy on the electrical tape.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I think it's a fire
that's an
retardant.
electrician thing.
Okay.
That's a good electrician will do that.
And I don't have the patience to go run and start flipping breakers. And it's always when
So
you
you
get,
try to leave it hot while
it's
you're doing
always,
it?
yeah. But it's always, I mean, you're fine as long as you don't,
Oh, I will not flip a breaker.
cross it. But then
No, that's fucking.
it's as soon
because
as
then you got to
get-
like set clocks and there's all the whole shit. The whole fucking house goes down.
It's as soon as you get comfortable and you're moving through them, and then all of a sudden you just cross. the
Yeah,
two.
it's a buzz.
It just gives you a little,
It's a buzz.
you know,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
Now I've gotten one in the ceiling before on a ceiling fan or whatever. That
You got 220 before?
That
You got a little
that'll get you hemmed up, especially on a ladder. Have you ever watched a good electrician, home electrician that's been doing it for years? How fast they can do wall outlets and plugins like that. Like that's an art in and of itself. Those guys don't give enough fucking credit because they're doing it with. You can do everything with basically 2 tools, right? So they get 2 tools. Like their one set of pliers does like 6 things. But the turnover hook, I mean, literally they can do a wall plug. If you're good, you can do a wall plug like in less than a minute. And it's like stripped, bam, bam. I mean, knowing all the stuff, and especially when you got like double duplex and jumping over, and this is on a thing. Like it's wild to see.
Hey, when
Is that the only thing in the world that still uses a straight head screw?
No, they're all
now-
Phillips
yeah, now
now.
they're Phillips.
They're all Phillips.
yeah, just the old. Well, those are fancy ones, but
Yeah.
when
The cover plates are,
Yeah, the
are
cover
still
plate,
flats.
yeah.
Yeah, they're flat. They're flat.
when I'm in there, it's like fucking like I'm working on a bomb. I'm like,
Oh yeah. Grab it with these set of pliers there, and I'll do a
Got
twist.
rubber gloves on.
Yeah.
dude, hot rods,
Yeah, we got to get back to hot rods.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you
You said you got 2 facilities.
Yeah, you brought up an interesting comment, the 2 facilities, which I thought, when we were chatting, a brilliant idea, right? The way you operate your business.
Yeah.
So how is that? Is it 2 facilities just because you got so much shit going on, or it's 2 facilities because what do you do?
Yeah, it was the 2 facilities things came about when I found myself becoming a little bit of the shop that was catering towards the jobs that pay well and not quite giving the builds the attention that they need.
Okay.
And I told myself I would never be that guy. We've all seen it. We know those places exist. We know where the projects die and don't get touched and
Yep.
don't get the attention and the focus and the planning and the process that they need. And this was pretty early on. I think we had been open for roughly 3 years, and it's like thank you, sir. And it's like you blink and we have 5 or 6 big builds going on and 10 to 15 cars coming in and out every week, and
That's cool.
you're like, wow, So it was just it was a move that happened kind of naturally, and it's kind of it happened very organically. We're really blessed and lucky to be able to pull it off, and it's been a great thing to help us focus on the build process and really continue the journey of figuring out how to make money building high-end cars. And
So what's it segmented? You got like a full build shop, and then you've got like part sales and installs.
Yeah, so our second location is focused on repair, upgrades, repairs, maintenance, service, all on hot rods, right? So LS swaps, EFI conversions, Vininger installs, drop kits,
Sure.
coilover conversions, a lot of QA1 kits.
Great
Yeah.
business for that
Just-
area.
Are they branded the same? Is it still?
Nope, two separate entities. Okay. Yep. And I'd like to get into that portion of kind of my story, kind of as we go through. But the going through high school and being a total car freak and like not being able to. I don't even know if I was going to graduate high school, dude. I don't know if anybody else is in that same boat, but like it was not a school cat, dude. Like,
75% of our.
I crushed it, dude. I fucking absolutely.
you crushed it yet?
I got
record GPA.
my son's got 3.5 weeks, and we are
It's great.
we're threading the needle.
Yeah, dude.
we are.
These talks didn't sink in yet.
We had a big one last night. And we'll
We're
see how that
we're
goes.
threading the
So you-
needle right now in 8th grade. My son's asking me about graduating, and he's gonna have a graduation party. I'm like, dude,
There's a
that might
big
happen
part
next year. Like, that's, You got a year to think about it.
Yeah, I get it, man. I mean, come senior year, I had taken the least amount of fucking classes you can take, right? And so at our school, we were allowed to take an elective, and then you were allowed to be a TA, a teacher's assistant first. So I had auto shop and then auto shop assistant, and I had like 2 more classes, like a math and whatever. I don't even remember what else I took, but it was cars, man. That was really the only thing that I ever felt like I was passionate about, and that I wanted to do, you know. So I went to Wyotech after high school, and at the time, you know, that was seemed like a really valid option, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, there was a lot of talent coming out of those schools prior to me. You know, I went to Wyotech in like 2010, right? Sure. So like the 2005 or 2010 range, there's some freaking talent coming out of those schools, you know. And so that's what I did. And I remember I kind of got signed up, and kind of first day on campus, I feel like I can big dick everybody. I've been doing shit, dude. I've already been TIG welding and doing stuff, and you know, you got to take a base course first, and so it was automotive technology, and then you get to go to the electives. So one thing I'd never done was wire a positive to a negative on fucking anything. You know, like I did not know anything about electronics. Yeah. And I remember the first class that I got placed into was automotive electronics. So, you know, the first lecture we had was humbling, right? Yep. And you kind of swallow your spit a little bit, like, ooh, wow, I got some learning to do. And of course, there's this one dude in the class that was previous electrician. They're on a you know, kind of a midlife kind of deal, and he's raising his hand and answer. He's got all the questions. He knows all about electronics or whatever. And it was the first kind of piece of humble pie that I had right out of the gate, dude. I got humbled. I feel like,
tell him, let's get under the hood. Let's see what you can do.
Yeah,
Flip that thing down. Start.
Yeah. So, but I went into school pretty highly motivated. You know, if there's anything I want to do, I knew I wanted to do this, and I wanted to crush it. And here's this dude. I'm like, well, shit, first class, I'm getting my ass kicked first day, right? And I remember, you know, they go through a week of lecture, and then you take a test. And I just knew, like, dude, if I know everything in this book, like, then I got this, right? So I'm just from the first test, I didn't sleep that night, man.
You had to read the book.
Yeah, I had to read it, right? Okay. It was the first book I ever read, probably, dude. Like, seriously, I never read a book. Version? No Cliff Notes on the Wyotech booklet. So just, I remember jamming hard and studying and really putting that effort in, and I scored like a 98.6 on that test, and he had like a 98.2.
Damn.
And he never caught me, right? Nice. And it was the whole, every class in Wyotech was that way. I was able to be the top in the class, and it was such a 180 from what I was used to being, you know? And I'd never experienced anything like that before. Yeah. Being the top of something, to being like really good at it. And it came natural, man. Yeah, we put in the work, but the work to me doesn't seem very hard, especially when you're young and eager and you're having fun, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So my Wyotech days were like, it was working at O'Reilly, studying my ass off, and going to the gym, and that's what we did, and graduated top of the class and got through it. Didn't miss 1 minute of school, so they give you like National Technical Honor Society, got voted into that, and like that's some accolades for the first time in my life, you know.
Isn't that crazy?
Do a lot more when you want to do it.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that crazy how that works? Because I mean, I'm very similar to you. I was, you know, maybe like a C average student at best. It was hard to get to a C average in high school. I mean, it was
they help you.
Oh yeah,
plenty of D's,
sure.
You know, but like
a big curve back then. I'm sure.
I fucking hated school.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I went just briefly to an automotive school, and it was so fucking it just came so natural to me, and it was straight A's. That's awesome. Straight A, and I'm like, oh, you know, this is what these fucking kids all like. I remember seeing all the smart kids like back in high school. I'm like, oh, fucking piece of cake. Mm-hmm. Like it, but then nobody caters to that because everybody's got their thing, and you know, you would if you took that smart motherfucker who was just knocking it out of the park in language arts class, but she's probably not doing a fucking thing today, right? But like,
put him in a shop class.
Put him in a shop class. He would probably.
Well, that's the problem is there's no such thing as smart and stupid. That shit doesn't exist. It's it's 100% growth by interest, right?
Yeah, but you're naturally your mind, your makeup, the way you
there's
operate,
talents.
you're drawn to certain things, and people are good. It's like
100%. That's what I'm saying. But it's growth.
But what I'm saying is they should be, they should cater to that more. Like if the education system would cater to that
100%
more and identify that, like all the dumbass tests that you took, like the universal ACTs, SATs, placement tests, like the annual fucking whatever the hell tests they were, which I never paid attention to. I don't even know what they were. I just filled out the same, like A all the way down on the Scantron. If those were designed to like find people's interests and what they might excel at,
sure,
society would probably be a fuckload better.
Whole lot better. Absolutely.
To find, had you found that, or they found that as a freshman in high school, maybe in 8th grade, maybe 7th grade, and cultivated that, dude, I mean, you're so impressionable in that high school range. You could have been fucking, I mean, unbelievable amount of knowledge you could have gained that would have propelled your career path.
Yeah, and how many kids are just screwing off because they have zero direction?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can think of
so
one.
much time wasted.
One for sure.
So much time wasted, and we did a lot of fucking around in high school too. But like, I always had that car thing, and we were doing stuff, man. And I wish, I hope that for every kid, they don't have that opportunity. It's very hard for any kid that is bored and doesn't have a direction and is going to go get a business degree at ASU and go manage a bowling alley, right? Like that's just like the general thing. I'm gonna go get a business degree or like, and it's so sad, man, because there's something in there for everybody.
100%. That's my thing was what I was talking about. It's growth by interest, right? It's intelligence
absolutely
gained by your interest level. You start that at 5 or 6 years old,
sure,
right? There's people that are born with a higher level of just, basic intelligence, right? Whatever. But there's people that you're walking around, the mouth breathers that you run into right now, they're 30-something years old, whatever, that are at the airport flying for their 5th time, like this is their first time, that have no idea what they're fucking doing down the wrong way on the escalator, right? They could have gotten smarter.
Well,
if there was going to be interest that would have been catered to them, to your point on the aptitude test stuff, and putting people into stuff.
But I do think
self-awareness was one of them.
What do you call your standards, like your math, science? There's a word for it.
Core
classes. Spatial awareness should have been a core class. Like, hey, dude, what do you got going on? Oh, 8th period, I got spatial awareness. Oh,
well, that's only if you graded poorly on your aptitude test of spatial awareness. Then spatial awareness is something you need to do.
And one of the questions could have been like, you're about to have a conversation. A, do you stop in front of the escalator to have the conversation? Or B, do you get on the escalator and proceed with said conversation at the right side of the escalator? And that would, that if you go B,
walk on the moving walkway, or do you stand in the middle of the moving walkway?
If you go B, guess what? You probably don't need spatial awareness class.
if
you're the guy that's like, hey, the best place to have this conversation, I'm going to tie my fucking shoes at the bottom of the escalator. Well, maybe bad analogy because it's fucking dangerous, but I'm going to just stop and just like yard sale my things, or I'm going to stop and talk to my fucking wife at the bottom of the escalator. Guess what? You are taking 2 periods.
Yep, you're going to have to take it this year and next year. Yeah. But again, it's I mean, if there was classes catered right now to my son, like if it was lifting weights,
speeding,
Google searching big titties, right? And taking pictures of his cars and his friends' cars. Like if classes could be done, like he would be.
You got a shot at photography there. I
think. He would
seriously,
absolutely.
That's his entry level as his searches are.
No, I was cleaning it up for the. No, he's 18. Like it's
they're pretty.
That was at 14.
Okay.
That was 14 was just every adjective before boobs.
Tell me that.
Hey, that's
big boobs, huge boobs, wet boobs, floppy boobs, big boobs. Like it's just not. Like you could also,
my buddy John Butler.
You could also
to this day.
Really? You can mix in tits, jams. There's like all kinds of other stuff after the adjectives.
We're derailing you again.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's one of those.
The school thing always gets us.
Well, then the extracurriculars too. It seems like this the go-to sports, and that's like almost it half the time. I know your boy's into riding, which is huge. I think that's great.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of time after hours, and it just seems like the go-to is just only sports most of the time. right? And I don't think sports are bad. There's nothing wrong with sports, but if I feel like parents, that's the only, it's either soccer, or baseball, or gymnastics, or like whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that stuff. But what about everything else, you know? And there's, like I said, there's just not enough time and effort after hours. So the fault, I feel like, is in the school system. They're not getting exposed to enough things, enough opportunity.
You got girls in gymnastics?
Yeah.
I got my daughters in gymnastics,
Is she?
too. Do you go to the meets?
Yeah.
How do you like the award ceremonies?
How do I like the awards?
The length of the awards. Maybe they're different than mine, but these are like, it's got to be, I don't know, 14 to 15 hours. Maybe. It's. I mean,
no,
and everybody they get like 17
they all get something?
fucking little, medallions or whatever.
Yeah. How old's yours?
She's 11.
Yeah, she's older. See, my oldest is 7, so it's still pretty like entry level and like.
Okay. I do like watching her. I mean, it's
of course,
it's
yeah.
cool to,
yeah, but she goes for 4 minutes out of the 4 hours you're there, right? It's tough.
You like going to like Tampa for?
Dude, that's one I've had that conversation with a lot of people. I'm trying to think of who recently that the way that they structure these things to travel, like my daughter, she does well. She's maybe she's listening to this. So I don't want to say the word average, but she's just good. It's just like, it's a fun thing. It's not something, she's not going to the Olympics, but it's just a little local thing. It's actually right down the street from here. But instead of having meets like within a 15-mile radius, they have meets it's Orlando, this like south side of fucking Chicago. There's one in a Jamaica that they do. I didn't go to that. She didn't go to that, but they're everywhere. I mean, they're all fucking Indiana, Michigan. Like, dude, there's
It's a business, man. It's
there's
business.
not
They gotta
enough
make that
kids
money.
Yeah, in our family,
locally
man,
that you could just
There's not a
go.
mat you can tumble on.
Yeah, you
here?
go
Sure.
do some fucking somersaults.
I
You could
know.
do some somersaults in Buffalo Grove.
Yeah.
It's fucking 5 minutes from here.
Yeah.
You know?
As the kids get older and shit starts getting more competitive and they get all this pressure to play club and join the team and do all this and me and my wife, we're not going to die. I mean, maybe a little later, you can consider it. But right now it's like if we're in tournaments every weekend on Sundays and all day Saturdays, every fucking weekend or whatever, like, number one, we're missing church. Number two, we can't go fishing. Number three, we can't go riding, right?
Yeah.
We can't make it to the cabin. Like, for what? For sports? What about all the rest of the things that, gardening and like building the garden up at the cabin, like just doing all the stuff that
Phil does.
like,
He does a good job of
can
being able to
speak to this. I mean, his
taking time for other things
his
besides
schedule's just
sports.
like, it's wide open. I mean, he just
Yeah,
thinks
I've
he
got
like
so much free time.
like this weekend. Who knows what he's going to do? I mean,
This
he'll
weekend
probably,
we have a
wake
baseball
up late.
tournament.
In Puerto Rico.
No, it's actually in McHenry, which is nice and close. There's also a lacrosse tournament going on.
oh man,
My son plays both.
His son's
He plays both.
Deion Sanders.
He's trying to be Dion and Bo Jackson
Yeah.
combined.
Yeah.
He's
How
already
old's your son?
signed. He's already
He's
signed with
11.
the Cuban
He's 11.
national team. I guarantee.
You got to line him up.
Just give him a ring.
Yeah, the travel sports is
that's
nuts.
gnarly, dude.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah, for
We have
sure.
a 10-day tournament in Missouri coming up at 11 years old.
Yo, dude.
Yeah. And then we do like a tournament in Iowa. It's 4 hours away. And you're playing 6 teams that are within a 15-mile radius of home. And there's like one team from Iowa. I'm like, we've got fields here. Like, let's just play here and save the hotels and the drive.
There's
stuff,
no
man.
way that the entire team's groups of parents can all be there for 10 days solid.
Yeah, I don't
It's
understand. It's like impossible.
Business.
Yeah.
I mean, half of the business in the world would just shut down. Like,
Yeah.
it's just that it can't happen.
I wonder what these dads do, dude.
Well,
Because
go to some of them.
like, I don't go to a lot. I go to the critical ones, but
Same.
it's like the dads are like really fucking into this stuff,
That's the ones that are there. That's the thing.
And
So
we're
the,
like,
What do you
that's
do?
their hobby.
the dads that you don't see are the ones that aren't going because they've got other things that are going on or they're working or something like that. But the ones that you might see, some people I know from my daughter did pageants and competition cheer, stuff like that. So I go a few times just to a few things, right? But then there's always a time I'm like, that guy's at a lot of them, and Jody would be like, oh, he's at all of them. That makes sense. Yeah. What does he do for a living? Oh, I think she's the one that works.
I think his wife's a
Yeah,
doctor.
that 100% makes sense. And they always clap a certain way. I'm not gonna do the clap,
Dude, but it's
everybody
I wanna see
that's listening knows the clap that the dad that's at every sports.
I'll tell you what. There's something about,
There's a-
and
it's a
maybe there's people
energetic
listening to this, but
clap.
they're seeing a 40-something-year-old grown-ass man wearing a gymnastics sweatshirt, a non-hooded gymnastics sweatshirt.
A crew.
Yeah, it doesn't sit right.
Crews are coming back, man. Everybody's wanting crew necks for some reason.
Really?
I don't wear them.
That wasn't really like the point I was.
I know.
That's not the takeaway.
Trying to make.
But
I'm talking about like OG, like like Walmart type.
yeah,
Josh he's pushing into apparel line. That's
Yes.
coming next.
Yeah.
We tried.
No,
we tried to do the dance thing with the girls early days. We walked because they had one
we
event
thought
where they
we
had
tried
the dads were up on the stage dancing and they were dressed all weird, and then there was a dad that wasn't a dad, he was actually a mom, but it was a dad. I'm like, dude, I told my, I said, I'm not doing this.
We were getting through the school thing. You're going through school, you're fucking crushing it in school.
Yeah.
And where did it go from there?
Crushing it at Biotech, and then graduated there, and then actually I had one job for about 8 months that wasn't directly hot rods, but I got a job at an off-road fab shop doing roll cages and long travel kits for UTVs and razors and shit when it first started. Rhinos, it was actually the Rhino days.
Razor.
And so, dude, I did a ton of like fixture welding chromoly, and then this company was actually building. I wasn't part of developing or anything, but they were building aluminum roll cages for razors and stuff and selling
You were
them.
welding those?
Yeah, so I got my, at a Biotech, like I could TIG weld some stuff, but was definitely not, super savvy on especially the aluminum stuff. So
What's the wall thickness when you're doing an aluminum roll cage?
120.
Do those work?
Dude,
does something,
so I
right,
remember,
right.
and again, I was there for a short time. I was young, dude. I was 19 years old. 19, 20 years old when I was working there, and I learned how to use an NC bender, and then got to prototype a few. So I got into tube bending, and then a ton of just fixture welding aluminum, dude. You want to talk about getting good when you're welding for 6 months of just laying fucking rod, right? So got really good aluminum. I remember, like, do they work? It depends who's welding them. I remember this dude shows up one time, bro, and he pulls in the back, and this dude's banging on the back door. So my boss walks out. He goes, "Hey, what's going on?" And it was a customer that had bought a cage, 6 months back. He goes, "Hey, I rolled my razor at the dunes. Come look at this." And he lifts up the tonneau cover of the bed of his truck, and there's like every tube just broke at the seam, just fucking laying in the deal. And you can see it was all undercut and just kind of fuse welded, and I'm like, holy cow, dude, like this is a huge liability. But anyway, I just worked there. I got a ton of good welding experience and tubing work experience. And I was there, I think, for about 8 months. And about 3 months in, I kind of realized, like, man, I definitely got to keep chasing this hot rod deal. And there was a local shop that was right around the corner from where I was working, and he had an open house. It was a shop out of Arizona called Speed Sports. Shout out Mark Clark. He's a great dude.
Real quick, how did you end up? You left Biotech and you just decided you're like Arizona?
No, that's where I was. I was born in New York.
Okay.
And moved to Arizona at like 5 years old.
Okay.
So I was raised in Arizona.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was an Arizona boy.
Okay.
Born in New York, but definitely raised in Arizona. So back to Arizona, got a job at a fab shop. I was making $10 an hour, dude, at a
Good
Biotech.
money.
Yeah,
It's
right.
Twice what I was making.
Right. And I was top of the class, but it was never about the money. I knew I wanted to get good at welding and doing stuff, and this was just a foot in the door somewhere. But I went to this open house to this hot rod shop, and he had just bought a new building, and the place was like a freaking laboratory, dude. It was so clean. He had it all decked out and stations all set up. Just a couple guys, kind of a small operation, and he had some vendors there. And I remember trying to ask people and tracking down like who's the owner, and they, I found Mark, and I handed him just a folder. I had my resume on me, and I said, "Hey, I'm looking for some work." And he was hanging out. He fucking took it. And, all right, thanks. I got a phone call about 6 months later, and this is puts it about like the 9-month mark of working on this off-road suspension stuff. And he goes, "Hey, bud, I saw your resume on my desk. You want to come work?" So that turned into me going to work for Mark Clark at Speed Sports, and Speed Sports specialized in dyno tuning and fixing and repairing hot rods.
Yep.
And beautiful shop, great work ethic, super attention to detail, the whole 9 yards. And I remember Mark asked me in the interview, hey, what are you not that good at this point? I said, well, I haven't done much sheet metal, right? First thing he does is put me on a quarter panel on a Chevelle to cut in a quarter panel like a section. So dive in with the wolves, man. Like, just get after it. So from the beginning is always just, it didn't matter for me, like what was in front of me. If it was a car and, I had the basic knowledge and at this point I had some good experience under my belt, but it didn't matter what it was. I never felt scared ever to jump into a project, and there was a time, and I think I have a post on it when, and this kind of circles back, guys, to what it means for me to be here. You got to remember, like, me at Wiotech 2010, I'll get a little emotional. I'm sorry, but like, so I love pro touring cars, man. Yeah. And you got to think about what you guys were doing at that time,
That was about the start. Like,
it was the Corvette was 2009.
Yeah, 2009 was,
Dude, like the cars that you guys were putting out and the whole thing that these new chassis platforms were coming out. And I remember being at Wiotech and reading magazines and just being totally overwhelmed and like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do.
Sure.
And I was at Speed Sports and he called me up to the front and he says, hey man, I got a Chevelle. I need you to, I got an RO on, and I go outside and it's the orange 67 that you guys built.
Oh shit,
Ted,
that was one that started it all.
Yeah.
This car, man. I remember, like I said, I remember reading about it at Wiotech, man. Like this is what I want.
Now you're seeing it in person.
I got the RO in my hand. I got the keys in my hand.
Shit,
right? I had to run the valves, or maybe we put EFI on it at one point.
Yeah, it was a big. It just had like a
540 or something. It was like a 540 big block, right? Yeah,
aluminum 540.
Yeah,
a little hardcore.
It was hardcore.
Still to this day, one of the best cars I've driven. I mean, that car fucking worked, man. I think it might have been DSC suspended with 1 year.
The front, that was like the very beginning of us transitioning from the hot rod stuff into the pro touring market, and it was a chassis we built, and we were using DSC front suspension. And then we built, the entire frame from there. But it was, we were learning a lot, right? So, big block Chevy, 4L80.
Right.
You just,
a lot of the things you should be doing.
Yeah, those are the first two things. Those are the first two things that come to mind when you're like, oh, I want a track car.
Sure, sure. So, but I have this opportunity, and now I'm at a reputable shop, and like kind of had that like, holy shit, I made it kind of feeling. And then just fast forward to now real quick, like, I don't know, like, how to even put it into words that there's been so much sacrifice. You guys know what it's like building hot rods, man. But like that journey, we don't come from money. Like the amount of sacrifice that had to happen to
get there,
to get these cars, this Nova, and like there's so much that went into that, and then to just be recognized by you guys who like I've looked up to.
Well, dude, the credit goes to you. You're the one that sacrificed.
You built the badass car.
Yeah, I appreciate that, right? But I just want to express my gratitude for the recognition because, like,
I appreciate that, man. I mean that was a unique car, but like the way that I see it when I look at it, I look at that Nova you built, right? And that car, in the short amount of time that you've had a shop and been in business, that Nova, it's 10 times the car that Chevelle was. Like, we were figuring it out, at that time. But
sure.
Hats off to you, dude. Like, the industry's evolved. What guys like you have brought to the table. The industry was young then. It was easier, right, to do something like that and to make an impact.
Yeah.
And you paint something a wild color. Like, cars didn't fucking work back then. So to make something that worked, it really stood out. Right, but to make something that stands out in today's industry, I mean, that's a real fucking accomplishment. So hats off to you, dude.
Appreciate
like,
it,
what you've done is pretty badass. I mean, I'm honored that like that car inspired you, but I'm humbled, like, because honestly, that car doesn't fucking stand up against that Nova that you built. Like, it just doesn't.
But and not to go back and forth with you, man, but like that Nova sits and performs the way it does for. If you guys didn't drive this industry in the way you have, what would it be like? With someone else taking it this far? I mean, yes, we had to step up. We got our sheet metal skills. We got our process. We've chased it. We got the detail work figured out. But like the amount of stall that happened in a project at the chassis point for so many fucking years, man. Like I remember one of the first things I did at Speed Sports was back half of Chevelle and set up a 4-link coil, parallel 4-link, and like the same old shit. You know what I mean? Like so. I'm just honored, man, because you know, and then with the podcast, you guys have driven this industry to a place that has made it, that has created opportunity for guys like me to jump into the things we're good at and not get stalled out on certain areas of the project, man. You know, the chassis was a huge part of it, and obviously that's why you've dove so deep into developing these things. You guys felt it when you guys started building cars. Yeah. What are we going to do at the chassis point? Well, here we go. And you guys changed the whole game, dude. And then when the spec came out and we were able to offer something at even a better price point that didn't take floor mods, like, I don't know if you guys understand what it did to my business, man. You know, like we got to offer that.
Well, I get it 100%. I think that we do understand it, but I also, you know, we're going to go back and forth.
Yeah.
The thing is I don't know how many people realize that it's honestly, it's perpetual motion, right? It's fucking perpetual motion because we try to push, right? And we come out the next thing. And then the builders get that much better. Sure. And they're able to build that much better because the thing that we did, but then they go past that point and then they demand more. And then we're like, well, we got to build more. We got to do this. Well, it's just perpetual motion that keeps feeding the beast now, and back and forth that keeps building everything. We have to get better. It makes you guys get better. That pushes us to have to get better. That makes you guys have. It's just
sure,
dude. It does.
It's feeding the beast.
It's an awesome fucking industry if you really think about it, right? We just had Andy Leach and Eric Black were out here the other day talking about some projects and stuff, and we're doing kind of a little bit of a top secret project for them that's coming out. And
not anymore. Sorry,
but you know. For one, it's an honor to be a part of it because, like, dude, I mean, look at the fucking cars that Andy Leach has built, right? They win everything. Yeah. You know, they're over the fucking top. Mm-hmm. And to be the guys selected to do that and to know that, like, we're adding something to his project, but then what he's going to take that and build something so fucking over the top on it. And it's just this wonderful fucking, like, snowball effect of this cooperative kind of industry that I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah, I had that conversation with Andy, and it's just like mutual admiration. He's like, dude, I can't tell you how much this means to me that you guys are wanting to do this project. I'm like, dude, I can't fucking tell you how much it means to me that you're wanting us to do this project.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like we couldn't build the cars we were building without you guys building the chassis. And I'm like, God, you know, you're building cars on our chassis is just as, like, we're blown away that you selected us to do this stuff.
Yeah. I think there's just so much admiration, and, you know, we're all very passionate.
Totally, man. That's the best part
we
about it.
We should do a group hug.
The whole industry should.
One big group hug. Triple Crown this year. The Guinness World Record for the biggest group hug.
There's not a lot of industries that are like
a
that,
hype huddle.
That are fueled by that much, like, passion and, like, desire to create something. And it's, you know, when you can park the egos, right? That's the biggest thing that I think changed in this industry. Because if you rewind, you know, like, probably about when you first got into it, like the mid 2000s, it was so infested with egos that everybody was like, you would never have like you would never have Jesse Greening machine you wheels because he's a fucking competitor, right? Like Jesse Greening's like a great fucking buddy, you know? And now it's like, dude, machine fucking everything because that's what you're awesome at.
Yeah.
And that's, the industry has totally evolved into that. Like, everybody's trying to deliver the best finished product humanly possible and use the resources that they can to get there. And you bury the ego, you bury the fucking pride.
Yeah.
And you use the people, you know, you create the network of the fucking people that build awesome shit.
Yeah. Well, you know? Again, back to, like, yes, the egos have dropped because you're trying to give the best product you possibly can because everybody's gotten focused on taking care of the customer, right?
Yes.
So to take care of the customer means that you can't have an ego, right? And the things that you need, that you know somebody else can do better, right, or more streamlined, or more cost effective, or because you're doing something else, you utilize those partners. And it doesn't hurt when you're fucking friends with them and you're like, you do this part, I'll do this part. At the end of the day, out of all this kind of stuff, all this, self gratification and this group hug and, loving on each other. I'll not say what I wanted to say, but out of all this, the winners are the customers.
Yes.
Yeah.
The people spending the money are continuing to win because
They're getting the best of the best.
everybody just keeps getting smarter and better to try and further take care of the customer. So more happy customers tell more happy customers, which grows the industry exponentially more, which makes more shops come in, which makes more shops say, I got to have a chassis, which talks to you and you're like, you got to talk to the roadshow shop. Sure. And then it just exponentially grows. If all you're worried about is making sure that you take care of the customer and do the best that you can possibly do by his dollar, it's a win.
Yeah, and I'll be honest,
it's always a win.
It is, and I'll be honest with you guys. As a young guy stepping into this, and my dad always told me 2 ears, one mouth, just listen, right? So there's such a common story of like, we're around the car at the car show, everything's cool, whatever, and then after you have a beer, maybe you hear from the owner or the builder, and it's like, yeah, this fucking guy did this, and he's fucking way over budget, and this wasn't what it was expected to be, and that customer's an asshole. There's always like a story, man, And I'm not saying that's for everybody, but it's very common, right? So when it comes to taking care of the customer, my worry is like, yeah, we keep pushing, we keep doing really cool stuff. How we can't keep dragging the customers through this, right? So the more parts that get developed, the more integration happens between builders, the more collaborations that happen. It better for the customer is better for the industry, man. Because I don't want to drag a customer through a project to see. No, dude, like that's the last thing I want to do. You know what I mean? I want it to be a fun deal that is positive. And if we need to order Troy's mirrors because they're badass, 100%. We're ordering Troy's mirrors because they're badass. Yeah, and that's the most cost-effective way to get to where we want to be for the client, right?
Yeah.
So, I love that. I love the way that things are going right now. The industry hasn't seen anything like it is right now. It keeps getting stronger. Right. It's getting easier. It's getting better. It's getting more efficient. I love it, man. I love it.
I think the industry's in an absolute sweet spot right now because of that. You got a lot of guys that are just settling into what they're really good at.
Sure.
And everybody's embracing it. And everybody's just kind of working with each other, to deliver the best.
Yeah, there's a lot more support than hatred now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I could be completely wrong and just misremembering, but you think back, say 7 or 8 years ago, right? Just 7 or 8 years ago, it seemed as though there was 2 factions, right, in the industry, right? You had the guys that have been doing it for a long time and the guys that have been doing it for a pretty decent amount of time. Yeah. But there was no brand new guys, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now you look at it and it's
the old guys.
It's well diversified, right? You have guys that are brand new that have just debuted their first car at SEMA this year, right? That are starting on the second build. There's 3 or 4 or 5 shops that I can think of right now. Right, then you got the intermediate. There's I got a couple of decent builds under my belt, and I got 6 more in the shop that I'm doing. And then you got a decent dozen or more of those guys. Then you got the guys that have been in business for 10 years that are finally starting to get, where their feet under them. Then you've got guys like us that have been a lot longer that have kind of, like you said, put the egos aside. You got a lot of people that are working with each other, and then you still have the Bobby Alloways that was working on wooden wagons and stuff Ring Brother. There's people you have
still calling them dinosaurs.
You have guys that have been around for a long time, all the way down to brand new guys, and everywhere in between. That I don't remember that grouping 7, 8 years ago.
I think they've always been there. There was just they weren't talking to each other.
Maybe.
Yeah, and now
when we were coming up, you were scared to death to talk to Bobby or Troy or Boyd. There was a clear division. You're not getting anywhere near them. Where now it's we're talking to guys that built their first car.
They also weren't making shit, They were just building their own car, the baddest ass cars. So it was, it was almost like rock and roll bands, I don't know how they interact with each other. They're all the baddest ass bands, right there. It's all these people collaborating with each other.
Yeah, we got Roger and Troy doing classes to
Yeah.
help. Like, there's just so much of that positive, like, forward
is.
motion that's going on.
And I wonder, like, we're sitting here talking about this, and I'm like, as I'm thinking through that, I wonder, is it the old guy talking about that, and there's some young fucking savages who are like, fuck these guys, dude.
Probably.
I'm fucking scratch building my chassis. I'm fucking
Yeah.
machining the mirrors. I'm building all my own upholstery panels.
They won't
I can
gonna
see that.
Murder these.
Probably from you. There's a lot of people that don't like you. I could see that they would be like, you know what? Fuck
You
Jeremy.
think so?
Yeah.
If they are,
Probably.
they're missing the point of all
There's
of
a
it,
lot.
man.
We get a decent amount of mail that I don't send to you.
We do. Well, we do.
It's-
Yeah, we do get some fucking YouTube feedback.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We
Yeah,
do.
you're not liked.
I don't. I wouldn't say it as a whole. Like if you.
There's been comments that have not.
Yeah. There's been
liked.
comments. I don't think that I'm generally not liked. Would you say that? Would you? Is that how you would?
Or
say
how are you classifying it? By the human race?
Oh, is that
or
how
like
you would?
by
Yeah. Well, by the whole industry or like car enthusiasts. Would you sum me up as just generally not liked? Let me be honest with me.
No, I think because most people, this is my,
His opinion doesn't
Double-handed.
matter, dude. He's on the inside.
my opinion matters.
How?
This is the problem. Most people like you a lot, right? Most people
Fair assessment. I know where this is going.
Most people like you a lot.
Yeah.
The other thing is, most people don't really know you, right? The ones that get to know you like you less and less the more they get
Really?
to know you.
I thought you were going a different direction.
See,
on
I
that.
feel- I
I'm
like-
just
I-
kidding.
I
I'm just
only-
kidding.
I feel like I feel
Most
like
people
I
like
only-
you a lot. Some people dislike you a lot based on your comment.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. I mean, I.
Mostly revolving around crew cabs and short beds.
Well, and I think
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
just brutally honest, with, and it is what it is. So
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I was laughing. I don't know. Some people will get this reference. Some people won't. So we're talking about the long bed, video comments, right? And how many people?
That one's gonna live forever.
It's lived forever. And we went back to the first thing that everybody says in defense of a long bed is about a full sheet of plywood. What am I going to do about plywood, right? So I consume media in the gun world, right? I'm a gun hobbyist enthusiast. So Eli, that was here, right? Eli Duckworth from Cabot Guns, right? And Alchemy.
He's pretty outspoken.
He's outspoken. So
Yeah.
him and there's another YouTuber, 1911 Syndicate, right? That does a bunch of reviews on all kinds of stuff. Great channel, great stuff. Well, they had a debate and they were talking about in the 1911, the 45 caliber, and then you've got 10 millimeter fans, right? So a 10 millimeters caliber of a 45, right?
Yep.
It's a little bit bigger than a 9 millimeter. It seems obvious.
1
makes
millimeter.
sense.
But
bigger.
there is a very niche group of 10 millimeter fans, right? And they are enthusiastic fans, right?
I've honestly never even heard of it.
10 millimeters it's been around for probably about 30, 40 years, right? And it's a very niche thing, and everyone's big time in it. I laughed because the 10 millimeter guys that are always like, oh, cool 45, it's no 10 millimeter. They always give the same amount of fucking hate as long bed guys do. But their instance, their excuse always comes down to a bear. So a 10 millimeter can kill a bear, right? That's the thing. Okay. So they're like, what are you going to do when you come across a bear? So Eli and the 1911 Syndicate guy,
He's funny too.
they go across with like, what is this a group of people that are always running into bears, right? There's because the guys that obviously based on the comments, people are running into bears every day. And a 45 is just going to piss them off, but a 10 millimeter will stop
put
him
'em down.
dead in his tracks. So it's funny relating the two of like,
That is funny.
that's the thing of like, oh, it won't kill a bear. Like, well, yeah, but like there's a gun will do a lot of things.
He's probably a 10 millimeter guy living in Arizona.
Are you 10 mil guy?
Well, they got bears out
They
there.
got desert bears out
Oh
there.
yeah, big desert bears.
This is a great story.
Here, let's hear the story. Go ahead and tell the story.
So we're out at Barrett Jackson, and we've got this. This is coming off of me. We were on a road tour years ago, and we're driving through. We're on was Pacific Coast Highway, and we're somewhere, and I make some comment about like, oh shit, you guys just missed. There's fucking Atascaderos running all over the place. And I'm riding in a car
This is
with
late night, and we're like
we've been on the road
loopy.
for a long time. I'm
yeah.
riding in the car, I think, with one of our customers, Dave, who's cool as fuck. And like everybody's like, what the fucking Atascadero? And I'm like, yeah, dude, fucking Atascadero. You haven't seen any,
which is a town.
Yeah,
And he saw the
I saw the sign
sign.
at some point, but it like in my
into
mind
an
it was
animal.
like an Atascadero. It's like a squirrel type animal. That's what the way that I digested it.
But you went for hours
So
describing.
I start telling them about, like, oh yeah, dude, you guys don't know about Atascaderos. Like they've got them out here. Like they're, they walk on their fucking hind legs. It's,
You said it looked like an armadillo that's sagging his pants that runs really fast.
His legs out.
And it's like that.
so I had everybody on this. Like everybody fucking was all over this. I sold them on an Atascadero. It was a real
You had him
animal.
on the hook, yeah.
And that stuck for years. Right now, it's just been this inside joke. Well, it never resurfaced. We never fucked with each other about it for probably the next 6 years.
Right.
We're out. We get a VRBO out in the middle of fucking nowhere for the Barrett Jackson auction, and we're driving through the fucking desert. And I'm like, fuck, I'm saying something about like, God, we're in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's got to be all sorts of crazy shit out here. And Josh says something about a fucking desert.
You gotta watch out for bears.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah,
There's
watch out
bears
for
out there.
bears.
He's like, bears
He's
ain't
like-
no bears. Yeah,
I'm like,
desert
there's
bears.
no fucking bears. He's like, yeah, there's fucking desert bears. He's like, dude, there's desert bears all up in these parts.
Especially this area.
So he had me for like a solid.
Phil rolls
15
right in it. He's
for
like, oh
15
yeah.
sec- yeah.
Like,
Phil
you never
backs
seen
him
the
up.
videos on Instagram about desert bears?
And they fucking got me. I'm like, fucking desert bears. I'm like, they got desert bears out here.
Yeah.
They got dusty fur. And
It was
Dirty ass bears and live
it
in the
was 10
desert.
to 15 seconds, and in my defense, I was like, dude, there are fucking bears out here.
the two of us were like, oh,
Yeah, they almost had me just, dude, desert bear.
But then I was like, they should though, shouldn't they? Yeah,
And I'm like,
just-
yeah, dude,
it seems like a thing.
desert bear is very compelling. Like, tell me that doesn't sound like a thing. Like it would be like a furry ass, like small
Arizona
bear.
desert bear.
Yeah,
Somebody's gonna call in right now and be like, "You realize there are bears in
Yeah.
Cave Creek," and then blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had me.
Yeah,
on the
they're
fucking-
called Tascaderos.
They had me on the desert bears. The desert bears and a Tascaderos.
Desert bears. Prime place for desert bears.
Classic.
I feel like we never got back to the two shops. That was like where we diverted.
We were
Well,
on it.
Yeah,
All right.
he had one. Now
Let
he's
me
got
keep-
two.
Yeah,
There's two of them.
Yeah, we got two. All right. Well, let's get to it and stay on it. But then I'm at Speed Sports.
Yes.
Busting ass. 20 years old when I started there. I remember not even being able to drink a beer with the guys at after work. And then I was on the tech side, and then in the middle of the shop was a chassis dyno, which was a huge part of that business. Mark was known for dyno tuning, and I remember working late one night and he was running the dyno, so I wrapped up what I was doing, cleaned up my work area, and then just jumped in the passenger seat. He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm gonna learn how to tune cars." And he goes, So he just did what he did and didn't give me too much time of the day in the beginning, but I chilled with him and stuck it out. I mean, we stayed a couple hours late, almost, at least once a week we were doing it. And so, after the third or fourth time, I started kind of getting a feel for what he was doing. He started explaining things to me a little bit more on the dyno tuning stuff. I was going home and studying. Like, I wanted to learn it. It was the next thing that I was just super intrigued about, Yeah. Had the working on cars thing down. It was the fab stuff I was pretty well rounded for the work that was in that shop for fab, and I'm not really one to ever idle too much. So I was like, what's the next thing? And I hear him ripping these cars on the dyno all day. It's intriguing, right?
Yep.
So anyway, probably a couple months after that, he handed me my first RO for my first dyno tune. He goes, "See if you can handle it, bud." And from there, it was I'm not gonna say I ran the chassis dyno. I helped run the dyno tuning part of that business for the next 5 years. And I don't claim to be the best dyno tuner in the valley or in the industry or anything like that, but there's hundreds of cars at this point that are on the road that that I've tuned. So it was like this next feather in the cap, and being the guy that was handling a lot of the tuning in the shop at the time, like I said, we would build like one car. We would finish a car every couple of years. That was a nice build, a nice, pro touring build that was paint, body, interior, the whole deal. But the majority of what we did was cars came in that just needed the bugs worked out or needed upgraded or repaired. And by the time I was 25 years old, man, I was, I've been patting you guys on the back, but I'll pump my chest a little bit. Like, I was a pretty fucking badass at 25 years old, Definitely the best fabricator in the building.
Yeah.
Dyno tuning cars constantly. A lot of the diag stuff was coming through my hands. Working out bugs. Just, I was really good at what I was doing. My boss knew it. He took care of me. It was a great situation. And I remember writing him an email one time. Said, "Hey, Mark, I'm not looking for a title. I'm not looking for money. But I want to make some changes out on the shop floor. I think I can help, like, make it run better. We weren't inventorying like shop supplies at the time, and like the consumable cabinets were kind of a mess, and like it was all manageable. It was fine, but like I don't know. I've always just had that aptitude of like, how can we dial this motherfucker in, And so, he sent me back an email saying, "Hey, dude, it just made me feel like it made me realize I'm not doing my job well enough. I'll pick up the slack. I just need you to keep grinding." Which was fine. I understand that, especially now I can understand that from the business side of things. Like there's money to be made. He was leaning on me a lot at the time. And, but for me personally, it's like, dude, I'm 25 years old and I felt a little bit plateaued.
Okay.
I mean, at 25 years old to be, I had taken some Laissez classes. I was getting into metal shaping stuff. Headers, dyno tuning, diag, all the mechanical work. Like, you don't meet too many people that are well-rounded, right?
Yep.
And so
100%.
it's kind of like this formula that like I felt pretty unstoppable, man. Like
all the fucking
just very confident in what I was doing. Like and I was never a cocky dude. I just felt very, I was good at this shit, man.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Felt like I was really good at this stuff, right? So when he kind of shot me down on it was fine, but obviously I didn't want to plateau, and he kicked me more money at the time, I think, which was cool, man. Mark's always done everything done right by me. But shortly after that, I went back to see Old Man Joe, who I was working with in high school.
Okay.
He had since scaled down. He's getting old. At this point, he's working in a shop in the back of somebody's horse property. Nice little, cool little shop, but he's scaling way down. He's getting old. So I showed up there one night, and we're drinking a couple beers and hanging out.
It's like a master sensei type conversation, it sounds like.
This? Well, this is like well, for me, it's a total God thing. I'm a man of faith, and like you just can't line things up like the way it lined up for me, man. Sure. So I give it up to God's grace in my life. But I go and see Old Man Joe, and we're sitting there hanging out, cracking some beers, catching up, and I would see him once a quarter or something. So I went and see him, and he goes, "Hey, you ever think about doing side work?" And at this point, I was getting hit up a lot, man. Like, I was kind of the young kid in the valley that everybody knew that was kind of the badass at speed sports, and like I was getting hit up a lot. I was never doing too much side work. I was doing some side work for a few people, like at their airplane hangars and like wiring cars and doing stuff, but never did I have like my own. I didn't have a place at home or nothing to do it, right? She goes, "Hey, you ever think about doing side work?" I said, "I think about it all the time, Joe." He goes, he has a little tiny like 3-bay shop that's fully equipped though. Bandsaw, mill, sanders, TIG welder, MIG welder, brake shear, the whole deal, right? And he goes, "Give me $500 a month and you can use the shop. You can have this bay." So I shook his hand that night, and from 25 till 27 when I opened Driven Speed Shop, I worked from 7 to 5:30 at Speed Sports in the day job, kicking ass, and then I had a 70 C10 long bed truck that I had rigged up to where I can roll my tool cart out of my bay at Speed Sports. Yeah. I could easily drop it into the bed. I had this little deal set up where I could do it. And I would haul ass to my side shop. And
did you need all 8 feet of it, or would a 6 suffice?
No, I needed all 8. I needed all 8.
So you had a lot of tools.
No, I didn't. I needed 8 to fit my quad. Wouldn't still shut the tailgate. So that worked. But anyway, 7 to 5:30 at the day job, and then 6 till it was 11:30 or 12, 4 nights a week. And at the time I was married, my wife, and we had our boy, and we had lunch. She brought dinner to the shop every night for a year and a half, man. Not every night, 4 nights a week is about what I worked on the side gig. And through, man, I remember one of the first jobs that I did on the side was this dude had a Chevy truck. It was kind of like a Lolo style truck. It was a 50s Chevy pickup, and he had driveline vibrations, and he had got my name through the grapevine. He called me. His name's Dougie Fresh. He owns Fresh Waterfalls out in Dougie Fresh. He's a legend, and he calls me, "Hey, yo, Mikey, I got your name, and I got a problem with my truck. I heard you might be able to fix it." I said, "All right, bring it on." So he's got to meet me after hours. So come by at 6, 7 o'clock tonight or whatever. So he stops by and tells me what's going on. He's had it at a couple shops. It's kicking drive shafts, throwing U-joints. Thing's a mess, right? So I said, all right, leave with me. Let me check it out. So I stay late that night, check it out. The motor, obviously on these street cars, we're kind of 2 degrees down on the drive line. Pretty typical, right? Well, he was inverted. The motor was just jacked in there. Whoever did the fab work.
Because we were inverted.
You remember having a Top Gun reference in a while.
You remember Race?
Yeah, 3 degrees up, 3 degrees down. Who gives a fuck?
So anyway, you guys are
I know
old,
that
man.
reference.
Anyway, I kind of called him, and it was going to be, remount the motor, reposition the motor trans, get driveline made, redo some exhaust work, whatever. Like, I don't know. I think I called him. I said, Dougie, it's going to be kind of expensive. In my world, it was $5,000 or $6,000. So it's like a big ticket. And he goes, all right, you think it's going to work? I said, Dougie, that's what I do, man. It's going to work. We'll fix it. He goes, all right, just do it. So, it took a couple weeks or whatever after hours, and I got the work done. He came and picked it up one night, came to test drive it, and he takes it for a test drive. I got it all squared up. I think things fucking dialed, right? So he comes back, and grown-ass man gives me this big old hug, and he goes, I've never had just like an experience like this where I just pay the money and the car's dialed in. And he thank you very much. And, that's kind of, and he handed me, $6,500 cash or whatever it was. And at the time, dude, like, I probably had $1,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
I just bought.
That's big.
You
money.
done hit it.
Yeah, because I had just got married. Wife moved into the house. Like, I could swing everything by myself, but I had my wife now, my son. Like, it was like we were not living high on the hog by any means. So here's this chunk of cash, and I'm looking, I'm like, whoa, I guess we can kind of do this, right? And then, so Dougie calls me like a week later. He goes, hey, I need to bring the truck back. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm trying to hit it 100 and like, what's going on? I said, all right, just bring it tonight, man. We'll talk. All right. And he shows back up. I said, what's going on? And he goes, here you go. And he hands me $5,000. He goes, just make it better again.
Better again.
Yeah, just make it better. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I don't know, do
Next
something
level
cool.
Better.
At this point, the thing's running good. So I built a closeout panel in the engine bay. I hard lined some of the tubing and like just did shit to the truck. And he gave me the opportunity to spread my wings and just work on his truck,
Badass.
So in 2 weeks' time, I was up $10,000 for the family.
Yeah.
This is a game changer for me, man. And obviously we had to play catch up, so who knows where the fuck the money went. But after a year and a half of this, doing side work and hustling hard, working 2 jobs, it's 70, 80 hours a week is pretty typical. And the wife being fully supportive. I remember one of my neighbors was having me work on his lawnmower. He always had me fix his goddamn lawnmower. And he goes, hey, how you doing, Mike? I said, I'm good, man, doing some side work and everything. He goes, huh? He goes, you ever going to start your own shop? I said, I think about it all the time. And he goes, why don't I pray for you? I'm a believer. He laid hands on me in his driveway and just kind of said a prayer over me. And then that night I went to a small group meeting with some dudes from church, and conversation came up about me, and they knew I wanted to start my shop. And these dudes prayed over me that night as well. And after that small group meeting that night, my phone rings, bing, bing, bing. And it's this dude named Gus Schultz, who's a previous customer of mine from Speed Sports. I used to work on his sand cars all the time. He he calls me that night. I'm sitting at the table with the guys, and I answered it because I want to see what he's got going on. Hey, you ever think about starting your own shop? So what is this? Are you?
That's what we call the Matrix.
The Matrix. Yeah, call it what you want, man. But the good Lord's real. I'm just telling you. And I said, Gus, I think about all the time. He goes, I'm gonna send you an address. Meet me here tomorrow. Or I don't remember what it was. A couple of days later.
Right.
So I meet him down there, and he had just bought a building, a 10,000 square foot building. He wanted to. He had bought it for an investment. Him and a partner, and they were going to store some of their toys in one side, and he wanted to occupy the other side of it. And I was the first person they called.
That's awesome.
So I show up there, and he goes, what do you think? And I'm like, this is insane. And it was an old 18-wheeler repair shop. The place was a fucking wreck, dude. Like, thick ass grease on the floor, and like, but it was 4,500 square feet of like my dream,
Right.
So he goes, are you ready? I said, oh, am I ready? I got, I think I had 20 grand sitting in the bank and like family. I don't want to start a shop, I don't even know what that looks like, man. I'm a hot rodder. I can build cars, work on cars. I'm pretty competent, but the whole thing, starting a business thing, was just nerve wracking. So he goes, all right, well, why don't you do this, Mike? He goes, why don't you make me a list of what it's going to take for you to commit to this? Oh, well, I can do that, So I wrote up a list. Like, I need it to be wired, plumbed. Like, I need some lifts. I probably need a loan because the equipment I'm going to need I don't have the liquid funds for it and whatever. I sent him this list, and he sends me a text back. He goes, when you want to start? And I'm just like, oh, my gosh, it's time, So I called my wife, and I said, baby, I think we got to do this. And, she's been supportive since day one. And June 2017, we launched Driven Speed Shop through the sweat off our back, man, and cleared out the savings account, borrowed a little money from the landlord. He gave me some money to help me get going. And they actually had 3 or 4 lifts at their house somehow that they set up for us. And like, we launched it, man, and it was just me. I had no employees. I had TIG welder, brake shear, workbench, and a whole lot of drive.
That's for the name.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, you could probably go back and look at day one Driven Speed Shop at the beginning of this Instagram. I don't know.
If you started out with a brake and a shear, you're already starting out miles ahead of most of us in this room right here. Right? Workbench was the brake.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, coming from the speed shop background, a lot of that work followed me, right? I was fixing a lot of cars, putting 383s and stuff and doing little trick stuff and light engine bay work.
Is that your truck?
No, that's a customer of mine.
That's right up Josh's alley.
You like that truck?
It's a good looking truck.
Good looking truck.
Yeah, dude.
I've seen that truck. I've seen it.
That's a bad dude right there. We put a what do we do? We put a GM like 4L70 in it and a 383 from Chevy.
That's good. There it is again.
That's a fast burn.
Man, that's a good looking truck.
Yeah.
I need to get me an OBS.
Dude, I have found a OBS Ford dually crew cab right now. That's on fucking eBay. 33,000 original miles. It's power stroke.
Oh. Yeah, you better put some fucking earmuffs on.
Fuck.
You want to talk about it? Lacka. That thing is gonna.
But it is. That's mint.
That's a man's truck.
Yeah.
There ain't no more. That's a grown man's truck.
So you can put a shit ton of plywood in the back of that.
The only problem with it, it's a fucking Texas truck. It is flawless. You can't have it in the winter here.
Yeah, you park that for the winter.
Right. That's a summer truck.
Right.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to get the big man to drive it. That's a big man's truck. I don't even know the seat to go up far enough for you.
Dude, I pull heavy stuff. I need.
What do you pull?
Fucking boats, trailers,
All the stuff.
Yeah, cool shit.
I'm just you ain't ever. Yeah, that power stroke though. That's a different level.
Right.
You're gonna have to you buy yourself an oil rig somewhere and then buy that truck and you go out there and check on it.
That's a little too much for me.
I'm not saying it's too much for you. I'm just saying you're gonna,
solid shirt right there.
Hell yeah.
Come on.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, we've from the beginning, man. You guys, the support we've gotten from y'all.
You've been an OG from way back.
Well, we got a lot of posts.
No, I'm just saying you've been RS from way back.
Oh, dude, from the first, the first opportunity I've ever
killer
had.
Shit, man.
Well, dude, think about this freaking Nova, right? Well, I'm 27 years old.
On that? When was that?
2020.
2020, right? So I'm 3 years into business at this point. Not even probably less, but we had this. If you scroll down a little more, you'll probably see it. But like, I had one of your fast track chassis with an IRS, and this freaking shell of a car sectioned over it. Less than I'm probably 28 years old at the time.
Another more RS stuff, man.
Yeah, that's that Z pipe I was telling you about.
Oh fuck, that's badass.
Yeah, I crossed one. Remember, you know how you can buy the Z pipes now?
Yeah, so
you
you're
did
like
that fucking shit like
7
Oh
years
yeah,
before.
yeah. I crossed one over and kept one on the same side, dude. And
what's
then
the year?
2020. February 11th, 2020.
2020, and it's just now in
Yeah.
2025.
Because he's
Yeah.
a go fast guy. He knows exactly the pulses. He knows that
what's
shit.
I was calculating that.
He
shit. No, I
knows
wasn't.
that
How does
shit.
it sound?
It sounds really wicked, dude. It's
canceling
not
one
crazy
out.
exotic or whatever,
Yeah,
but it just is. It sounds good. I don't
Fucking
know.
exhaust
Fucking hot
guys,
rod, dude.
exhaust guys, and go fast guys together. That's a different level when you're talking about the sound shit, because they understand the pulses, and they understand canceling waves out, and they understand
Scavenging.
the scavenging
Let's
flow.
check,
I don't understand
check
any
out
of
those.
that, but
let me
sometimes
see
it
those
sounds
blind beads on that Polmax on the right.
That was my first job I did when I got my Lennox Polmax machine.
Did you pre-stretch those?
Fuck yeah, we pre-stretched
Okay.
them. Yeah, had to. You can see the pre-stretch there. That one's
Yes.
not drawn yet.
Yeah.
Yep. But
I
listen,
just like to see those dudes that just like toss a fucking giant panel in the
Yeah,
B-roll.
yeah.
That'd be fine. You'll
And
shrink
just
the edge when you're done.
blast
just tighten it up
bead.
around
Yeah,
the
it'd
edges.
be fucking good. It'd be all right.
Things like that.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna MIG weld it in, so it'll be fine after that.
Yeah, but I was having babies. We were running the shop, and we were hiring some decent techs at the time, and we just kept chipping away, man. And the opportunities kept rising, and we kept digging and eating, and that's what that's what it took. For my story, that's what it took. It was a whole lot of sacrifice.
You got a lot less gray in your beard in that picture.
Yeah, dude, it came fast. Well, it's hot rodding, man.
Yep.
You guys get it.
Oh, 100%, dude.
You guys get tucking bumpers and doing all this stuff, and then you get to the point where like you were talking about, you get these big projects, right? And holy shit, we have to manage this whole entire thing to a point where it can be profitable and can make sense for the customer. We got to keep the customer in tuned. He needs to be updated. Somehow he needs to have pictures all the time, and like so, the whole development process of doing the work is one thing, man.
Running the business side is as much work.
I underestimated the hell out of it, Phil. And that's something that we're still growing into and figuring out, right? But that's just as important as getting the work done, right?
If not more, man.
If not more, yeah, for sure.
If you're not getting paid for the work, there's no point in doing the work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, dude. So again, with the first time I was able to mock up a body over a chassis and then not weld it in, but build the cage and pull the body whack off and then weld the cage, is like I felt like I was building goddamn spaceships, man.
Yeah.
Like it was so rad.
Fuck.
That's awesome.
So rad.
So you're going through back. I mean, I just keep going.
That's the
If I don't look at
check
the
out
date,
chassis table, dude.
if I don't look at the date, I have no idea. Generally, when you go through and you start going that thing, you're like, oh, they're starting to get older. Yeah, they're learning. This it's no different than the shit you're doing. Like, that's fucking awesome.
Dude, when I first bought your chassis, I said, man, I'm not going to build this car on the table. So this is a chassis table I built on the weekends. They got sliders on the sides, sliders in the middle.
That's sick.
That was the first chassis table I ever built, man. And we still use it to this day. I got 2 of them now. We use them every day.
I got to use the little boys' room.
Hey,
So
you go
I'm gonna
ahead.
go.
Anybody else?
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take a break then.
That bottle
Oh, we're gonna
close.
finish it tonight.
is
close.
really close. I told
So-
him off air that what happens when you fill a bottle.
dude, that was the biggest missed opportunity ever on this podcast, was not having everybody over the past 3 seasons sign the bottle kits.
Oh, you guys just started it?
We just started, so we've got 3 of them up there.
Nice.
If we don't kill a bottle, you don't get to sign it.
Right.
We have to kill the bottle.
But anytime,
make sure the bottle-
anytime there's a bottle killed, it's simply put. I just killed my mic.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we
Oh, there we go. It's always the sign of just a fucking ripper podcast.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It
At
is.
least in our mind.
Yeah.
Well, they
we
get
have
better
no,
the
we
more.
have no metrics to gauge that. by. We had fucking fun. So
Yeah.
All that matters.
yeah. But all right, getting back into it, man.
All right.
Where did we leave off?
We left off. We're talking about the shop was getting rolling.
Yeah.
We're looking back at old builds.
Yeah, we're building cars. We got momentum. Always seem to have a good group of talent. Obviously, around me, it takes a team. We all know that. Currently, we have an awesome group of guys that really get down. Some badass fabricators, some great assembly guys, some management that's stepping up. It's really finding our groove. But about the 2020 range was a time where business was just taking off. I'm trying to learn the business side, and I'm doing my best to take my scatterbrain mechanic mind and hone it into figuring out how to manage and properly run a business. And always been savvy enough to get by and do the things we need to do and implement the right people to keep us legit. But when things start when shit starts rolling, man, if you have to surround yourself with people that are better than you. 100%. And I felt I'm definitely not the best guy on the business side. I'm more of a worker bee, right?
Yep.
So we had a good amount of builds going on. You guys have kind of seen some of these pictures, but a lot of projects. But this whole entire time, we weren't necessarily a full build shop. We were a speed shop, man. We had a ton of in and out work coming in. That was what I was known for, right? If Mikey can fix it or upgrade it, or doing a ton of EFI conversions, LS swaps, just all of it, building a lot of headers and whatever, right? So I remember I met this dude named Travis who owns AZ Pro Performance. Another shout out. I've given probably too many. Travis is a really
not in his
fucking
eyes.
Shout it out, man.
fucking, I'm shouting it, baby.
Shout it out.
Because there's some badass dudes out there, man. And Travis, I met Travis. He was doing these cars and coffee events at his business, and he sells C10 truck parts. That was his business. He started it drop shipping out of his garage, and he's built a pretty serious business on just selling, C10 OBS truck parts, Chevy truck parts. And I went to one of his cars and coffee deals, and I kind of shook his hand and said, hey, dude, if you guys ever need, a reference for installs, let me know. I'll kickback program. I will work something out, So he goes, oh, man, Mikey, it's cool. I heard about you, but I got something worked out with another guy already, but keep you in mind. So I don't know, a year goes by or whatever, and we've always stayed in touch, kind of started to get to know him a little bit more. I remember closing the shop up one day, locking up, and the phone's just bing, 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 and I'm turning away. We can't. We're stacked, like 11 guys at the time in a little shop, and like we're climbing over each other, and things are. We're not getting enough done on the bigger projects, and I just feel like a little bit slipping. I felt definitely in over my head, and the phone's ringing for like a week straight. And hey, Travis, AZ Pro said you can install this. AZ Pro, and then all of our customers, and I'm just turning things away. And I remember one night just answering the phone and just turning down another like Dakota Digital install. And I'm driving home, and I say, I'm gonna call Travis. I say, hey man, thanks for sending. Like, I noticed the phone's ring, and I appreciate you putting our name out there, but like I don't have the bandwidth. We are tapped. He goes, Mikey, no problem, man. Like, I'm just putting your name out there. I'm not making any promises. I said, I appreciate it, man. So I hung up, and I'm like, I'm calling back. Trav, you ever thought about starting an install shop? He goes, I think about it all the time. I said, I'll be at your shop in the morning. So I went to see him in the morning, and a year later we opened Shift Speed Shop together. Nice. We went 50-50 partners. My whole deal was like, I can handle the project management and the team. If I got to talk to one more customer, man, like I'm just not that guy. I'm savvy, talk to people, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you're a personable dude.
I am a personable dude.
You are that guy.
Yeah, but I don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to, but you are.
Whatever. I appreciate that, Jerry. Whatever that means, right? I don't want to be tied down that hard for another. Because we could scale it and we could go for it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do the invoicing. I don't want to be responsible for customer updates, and like I don't even want to look after the front desk person that's there to do it.
Yeah.
I will make sure that the install goes well. I'll make sure the guys have the right supplies and the right heat shrink connectors, and that we're on all the stuff that has to go into making it happen properly. I'm into overseeing that, pushing that process, making it better, doing all that stuff. I don't want to do it at the front.
Yep.
And that was the beauty behind what me and Travis, his and I partnership was, dude, if you can handle the front, bud, I'll handle the back. We went in, we put a chunk of money in each, equal 50-50 partners, and we launched Shift Speed Shop on a limb. And we launched that 2021 is when we got the keys. and it's turned into probably one of the best decisions I feel like I've made yet so far. You know, it's we got 4 of some of the best speed shop techs that I've ever met. Guys that are, you know, a few that are better than me. You know, I'll say that they are badass. Travis on the front side and Kendra who runs it. She's an animal. The customer updates, the organization, the facilitating of all that. Just running a fast-paced operation with T's crossed and I's dotted is been fantastic. Yeah. And you know, me and Travis went into that trying to plan to launch something that we wouldn't have to be overly plugged into. You know, I mean, obviously, let's do what it takes to get it running, get it operational, but let's really push to make this thing a well-oiled machine. And I could say at this point, you know, me and Travis spend minimal time overseeing that place. It's very well oiled. I spend probably 15 to 20 hours a week there is all it really takes of me, you know? And that's just because it's mine and I love it and I want to be there and support the guys. But at this point, we have a really, really well-oiled facility that you can call in for anything and get on the schedule. That's awesome. And from start to finish, your car can get knocked out and repaired properly.
It's such a gap in the market on...
Huge gap.
I have this vehicle. I need this thing installed. Like we talk about it all the time around here, like all varying types of cars, you know? Yeah. It's just, I mean, for any of the service stuff, right? It's very difficult to find.
Service stuff's tough.
You know?
Tough. Well, I know it's tough, and it's what I was groomed doing for most of my early days in my career. Yeah. And then, you know, I just understand how the experience of doing that type of work in our industry for a long period of time changes things, right? Everybody's worked on a John Deere tractor, thinks they can just come and do a vintage air install, whatever. And yes, you can get through it. I understand that, right? Yep. To get to the diag, the nitty gritty, the ins and outs, the right EFI components, the right speccing out fuel systems, and all the stuff that goes into like streamlining this and doing it really on a professional level, it just takes time, right? And Cody, our shop foreman over at Shift, he's got 25 years experience of automotive aftermarket doing what we do. So to meet somebody that I was able to bring on, he actually moved in 5 houses down from me, and I met him, and I learned that he was working on hot rods for all of his life and then hired him to be my manager. Dude, he knows all the ins and outs of the Holley stuff. He knows all the ins and outs of just all the he speaks the same language, right?
It's hard to find.
Crazy hard to find, right? So I'm confident in saying that, you know, over at Shift in the East Valley of Arizona, you know, the experience under our roof there is unmatched. Yep. You know, we can get through it. You know, lab scopes and all the diag possibilities that need to happen. We do it on a professional level, and that doesn't really exist where we're at, you know, and it's lucrative, you know, at least we're at the place where, you know, the industry of building hot rods, you know, this $100 an hour thing is pretty standard to build a car. And
sure,
you know, $1.25, some guys, it's great. And that's what we try and get, to fix and repair hot rods. It's a different program, at least where we're at, right? It's a different price point.
What's that price point on it, fixing and repairing?
$165 an hour, and we get it
100% justified, dude.
Yeah,
that's an area that it is. Man, is that a volatile place to play?
So you're half, you know, general car guy, mechanic, and your other half is archaeologist.
Well.
Right, you're I mean, diagnostic, right? Is all right. First of all, this is what's happening. But what did the 3 or 4 or 7 other people do, between here and this point? Let me just start searching it down. I'm like, oh, so it's an interesting place for a T-tap.
That should be it should be $1,000 an hour, right? Honestly, like, because you look at it like. Generally, the people that have purchased a car that are in that position that need you to fix it, they spent too much money.
Totally.
On the car to begin with.
Yeah.
It wasn't represented the way that it should have been. We do absolutely zero of that because it always fucks you in the end. Because if you fix it, it's great. But if you touch it, you own it.
Yeah.
Right? If you touch the front right coilover, you own the fuse
Tail light.
box under the car, you and the air conditioning, everything, you know, and it's tricky. We're doing a car. I'm fucking with it right now for a guy who's a family friend, and it's little things, but it's a complex problem that's very nobody would ever know how to tackle it if you didn't have fucking 20 something years of experience.
That's exactly
in hot rodding.
Right.
So like I look at it and I'm like, yeah, there's your problem. Well, it's not an easy problem to fix, but I know how to fix it.
We know where to go. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like you got to do this, and this,
Mm-hmm.
and you can fix that problem. But like the rest of the car is it's always going to be prone to other issues, right? It's never going to be right.
Totally. And part of the art of owning a repair shop for hot rods is educating the customer on this. You know, there's no sense of going into it with them and they have this expectation that they're going to pick it up for you and everything's going to be roses and fine. Yeah.
I wanted the air to blow cold, but you better make it ride better too.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So the conversation and our staff is trained to speak to the client like, listen, this is a hot rod that's been put together by, you know, somebody that maybe, you know, who knows who. Yep. And there's going to be things that come up. This may not be a one-shot deal. We might have to come back at it.
Sure.
It's a time material basis for the most part on a lot of it, right? We do a lot of drop kits and AC installs and everything that we do flat rate costs because we're doing so much repetitive work that we can nail it. And another thing that becomes lucrative of that is that as we do continuous installs and same product and the guys get familiar, we actually start to fucking win. Yeah. Like there's no winning in hot rodding, dude. Like in the full builds, like you guys, we're not charging for every hour, not even close, right? Well, in the speed shop side, you know, if my guy can put a QA1 install in because he's done 30 of them literally in the last 6 months, if he can do it and beat the book time, then we can play that game a little bit and make some money. You know what I mean?
It sounds like those are like really complicated to put in though. Like like
a little more complicated than bolting the chassis under it.
Throw a spec chassis under it. It seems like it'd be a lot quicker,
right?
You talking not to completely derail, but I just wanted to bring it up. You said something about you was talking about AZ Pro Performance and the C10 parts stuff. Have you guys seen everything going on with the Marquet guy?
I did hear that.
Well, we experienced a little bit of it. Because,
did you?
Well, the Marquet trim's always been great.
Yeah.
That's the go-to trim.
Absolutely, yep.
So we're building a crew cab for, like, our number one fucking customer. Yeah. Good fucking
You're not getting any Marquet trim for it.
And we've been waiting and fucking waiting. And it never shows up. So we just shit-canned it. We got, like, I don't know, some restoration parts, fucking... LMC trim. And now, like, I'm having buddies reach out. They're like, what the fuck's up with Marquet? What's going on? It doesn't sound good.
Did you see the whole story?
No, I did not. But it just
it's gone, right? Done, right? He just pieced out.
He just folded it up.
Yeah, he just like shut it down, right? Okay. Took the money. But he got hired as the president and CEO of the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green.
Okay.
So they made the announcement that, hey, whatever the guy's name, Dan Hill or whatever, something like that.
Well, I think it sounds like the name's probably important.
I don't remember the guy's name.
Google it. Yeah. Google it.
Right. I can look it up.
I'm just trying to forecast.
It ended.
I'm trying to forecast where you're going with the story, but
no, it ended the way it should.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, the guy get the shit kicked out of him?
No, he got, this is in the last, like, probably 72 hours from when we're recording this, right? In the last 3 days. Okay. He got hired as the president and CEO of the National Corvette Museum there in Bowling Green, right? And because of the social media doing what it does, David Hill. So David Hill got hired, and then a day later had to resign from his new position as
no shit
CEO because the National Corvette Museum got an overwhelming amount of response from Facebook about saying this guy fucking owes me money.
Scam artist.
Yes, so he's no longer the CEO.
Yeah, fuck that dude. Like honestly, fuck that guy.
What the fuck, man? How could it get that sideways?
This is courtesy of C10 talk right here. David Hill resigns from the NCM and Bryce Burklow is named as new president.
What are some of the comments?
Good job. Save the Corvette Museum. Love it when a plan comes together. Exactly what social media is good for. Thieves. No one is answering the phone or emails. They put me in a bad situation with clients overseas. Something has to be done.
Hey, look at that guy. Light blue on navy blue. No tie.
Yeah.
he
Probably
looks
dyed
like-
his hair.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking asshole.
I was going to go into
All
it
right, pull up
soft,
Ship's
but
feed.
I guess
Pull up
We're
Ship's
diving
feed.
Well, I'm not going into it soft because I was waiting on trim for fucking 6 months for a great buddy of mine that he fucked us up.
well, I didn't
so.
I didn't realize that I was stoking a fire like
Yeah,
that.
well, yeah, you stoked the fire. They make great trim.
Well, they don't make it
do.
anymore.
It came from overseas,
Yeah.
probably.
They don't sell it
But it
anymore.
was good, thick, heavy duty, stuff.
Right.
But
Well, no longer. Yeah.
he
You
should
know
do
what's
this.
thick and heavy duty?
What's that?
Not his resume.
Oh man.
Shift Speed Shop.
Shift Speed Shop, Queen Creek, Arizona.
Nice.
Hit us up for upgrades and repairs, baby. Yeah, so not obviously not only has it been great and a great business venture, but what it's done for us at Driven to be able to focus and concentrate on the build process of full custom cars and really hone in our focus without any distractions has been monumental to actually getting these cars to the finish line. And we've obviously we got the Nova that we released, and we're following it up with three more this year that we're finishing. And,
What are those three?
We got a 67, a 68 Camaro that are dropping that are pretty nice, really nice cars. And then we'll see the Scout this year, which is
Scout's over the fucking top, dude. I'll be honest. I saw the Scout prior to even meeting you. The Scout was popping up in social media.
if it found you,
I'm
huh?
like, yeah, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Hashtag Polmax or whatever.
Well, I mean, I was impressed by it. It just like landed in my feed, and that's an impressive fucking build, dude.
Thank you, man.
Is that a local customer?
It is.
It's cool.
It is, yeah. He got referred to us by a guy that we did some speed shop work for in the past, and he showed up. It was at another shop, and someone had built a chassis for it, and he wanted us to finish it. And I just told him, I said, hey man, if you want to, you want to get down on a build, we have our formula, and I won't buck off of it. So it started with a phone call from you guys, and got an RS4 chassis platform, and we proceeded to have some renderings done by Sean, and the project kind of started scaling, and we got to the point where we've hand built 95% of that body.
So what's original? The windshield frame?
Windshield frame and the inner door structure, and that's it.
They're known for good inner door structure, so I would definitely have kept that.
Yeah, the nose has been stretched.
Dude, I think I'm looking at that that Wagner motor. I see those valve covers. Is obviously a Wagner motor. I think it's time for a round 2 of Casey.
Get him back in here.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's do it.
Don't you think?
I think so.
Casey was.
Yeah.
He's
got stories I still want to get into.
He was a little like Casey's
Reserve.
fucking the shit that
Yeah.
crosses Casey's like.
Casey too, man.
I
like
mean, dude, the shit he does is insane.
insane.
It's amazing.
I've been like very good buddies with him for a long time, and he just casually drops the craziest stuff. Like this,
Building the new motors for Harley.
Yeah.
like
Right?
Are you,
Right? Are you?
Casey?
And Casey, being a
Talk
young
to
guy, like I
Edsel
told you,
Ford and
2 ears, one mouth kind of
Yeah.
mentality that my dad taught me. I've learned a lot from Casey because that white Nova we built that was on your guys' chassis with the IRS, we built it, got it fired on the high of my life, goes to upholstery, gets hung up for 6 months, comes back, and I go to fire it, and what the hell's going on? I start testing, I'm like, holy shit, the fucking motor's locked up. What the hell's going on,
I know where this one's going.
So,
Yeah.
I
could guess where it's probably going.
I've been a diode guy forever. I told my guy, pull plugs out of this thing. So pull a
Ejector
plug
wire?
and pull plugs out of it, bump the starter, and coolant just out of the cylinder
Ooh,
walls.
that's not the thing that we were thinking.
bueno.
So it's hydraulic, right? So,
Same thing, but different.
Different fluid.
So I call Casey and I said, dude, I got a problem. Listen, man, I've already exhausted fucking so much getting this car done, dude. Like I feel like I own half the motherfucker. You know what I mean? And that's just what it takes. I'm not complaining. That's what it is. And now it's shoehorned in. We got it back from upholstery, and I'm like, dude. I called Casey. I said, Casey, this thing's hydraulic. And he goes, how many times you hit the starter? I said, I don't know, a couple before we realized it. He goes, you got to pull the motor. And he goes, I know what it was. And come to find out that the the Whipple supercharger, you know, it's got the heat exchanger underneath.
Yeah.
It had a fucking hole in it, dude, and it filled the motor with coolant. And then I bumped the starter in case he was worried that it, you know, would have bent a rod or something. So, and I get it, and I kind of like, holy shit, Casey. I said, you sure the motor needs to come out? He goes, yeah, dude, I just want to make sure, send it back to me, and I'll make sure everything's good. And I said, dude, this is like going to crush me. Like, because who's going to pay? And he goes, Mikey, I'll take care of you, man. Just get me the motor back. So I put my head down, whatever, and get the motor out, and it's shoehorned in there, dude. You know, we're talking.
Yeah, they don't. Just
Well, first of all, it's a Nova, and number two, it's a hot rod builder that built a Nova.
Yeah, you don't just like pluck them out.
no,
right?
dude, it's a
Like,
week or two's
yeah.
worth of fucking effort
Yeah,
to
book
put
time's
it.
like 2.5 hours on that.
Yeah. So and at the time, dude, I was young and we're scraping by. You know, it's not like
We gotta
this.
pull
This
the
is not some
fucking
hyper,
windshield to get to the top bolts
Yeah,
that
it's
are
not
under the
a-
hinges. And,
I'm not a hyper success story. I've just dug and.
Yeah, you got to say like most of them. You
dude,
gotta
that's
take the
all
deck-
it is.
You got to put
Oh,
the fucking
yeah.
deck lid off.
That's
cut
that
the body
is-
off the chassis.
that is a success story. Is the one that's willing to dig.
Yeah, but anyway, like, and I'm not the type to, you know, I got it out and I got it to him and he sent it back to me and I got it back in, and it pretty much killed us, right? And then Casey calls me, hey, dude, make sure you get me that bill for the R&R time. I'm going to take care of you. It was the Whipple that had a problem. It wasn't Casey. Casey sold me the motor, yes, but
Sure.
like, dude, he bent over backwards for us, and he sent me a fucking check to R&R that motor, man, you know? And as a young dude in this industry, I'm a listener, and I'm watching and I'm listening to what people do, and that spoke to me more than anything at the time because,
Fuck yeah.
dude, I will never go around Casey. Like, it's loyalty, it's taking care of the customer, it's doing whatever you have to do to make it right. And so many times, especially as builders, we know, like, we have part failures often, right? We fight parts, man. You know, we do.
It happens.
And so many people just leave it up to us to eat the cost. And Casey's not one of those guys. Like, he's there for you. He's been there for me. He's bent over backwards. And I'll support him to the day I die, man.
100%, dude. Casey's a great fucking friend. He will stand behind anything.
He does.
Like, I mean, anybody building a fucking car that wants anything other than an absolute fucking bone stock, like GM fucking 430 horsepower crate motor, there's zero reason to not reach out to fucking Casey and get that shit. He has stood behind everything. I mean, I honestly can't.
We
think
still
of
get
many,
front of the line though, right? When we need him.
I would hope so, but I can't think of many things he's had to stand behind because it fucking works, dude.
Works, man.
Like, there's been, I mean, you talk about like little things that are out of his control, but it's like there's
That's right.
been very seldom have there had been like anything that
Yeah,
he's had.
and it wasn't
to-
even a Casey problem.
But
and he
when
took
there
care of
is,
it.
he is fucking all over
all
it,
over
man.
it, man. And shit
Yeah, if you-
happens, dude. Like,
Yeah,
If you're doing built motor, making horsepower, there's
Oh,
nobody.
yeah,
Nobody else. I mean, honestly,
yes.
yeah. He's a little bit of a dork, though. Honestly,
You say that.
He can't lift.
he's not listening. He's not listening.
Fucker can't lift a scale for shit.
He can lift with one
cannot.
arm. He can lift with one arm.
Yeah, that's what he's doing now.
Yeah.
He ripped his fucking bicep lifting his scale.
oh, jeez.
Can we change this video? I'm getting like,
It's
I'm
getting
I
busy.
we need to
Second
kill
away
that. We need to kill this bottle. We got to.
Yeah, we should kill the bottle, and then we got
Standard questions.
Beautiful.
Gotta take the cap off there, buddy.
Oh, I thought, yeah,
It's glass. I think it's glass.
killed it. That's what happens.
Did you tell
hey,
Josh about your purchase in Florida yet?
That's what happens when you get to the end of the bottle. My purchase in Florida, which was that?
For the basement?
No,
What did you do?
you share that with me.
I won't.
You do. You fucking 100%. But I will share it. I will share it because I will share a loss. I will.
This
I-
would be much
there's-
better
dude.
after hours. I've been dying for a time to just.
There's no
subtly
shame in
bring
there's.
this up.
There's
Oh, you killed the last bit. Look
Oh,
at that.
thanks, bud.
no,
Come
there's
on.
nothing there.
Yeah, you got it to go all the way over.
All right, there you go. There's no shame in my game. So, do you want me to share it?
Your call. I
Beautiful.
felt like I was going to bring it up
Just
at a better
share
time.
it.
Dude,
Jeez.
so we go down to Florida, me and Phil. And Phil here, we had a power outage down there. We've got a place down there, right?
Okay.
There was a power outage. and Phil kind of just like sort of left it there, didn't do anything with it. And when there's a power outage and you have a fridge freezer combination in the basement and you have bait in it, because that's what you do in Florida.
Oh, yum.
It doesn't
Yum.
fucking smell good at all. Right? So me and Phil go down there, like a little mandate weekend. We bombed down.
It was a brother thing.
Yeah, the little brother thing.
Just you guys were?
Yes, it was nice. Cool. We bombed down for the boat show, and we go down there, and we're
Find
fucking
a picture
hanging out.
to back myself up.
It was nice, right? We had a good time. And I'm like, hey, it smells like a fucking morgue down here. The fucking, like, the bait is rotten. We have to get a new fridge because this thing is fucked.
Yeah, you're not going to clean that
fucked,
out.
dude.
No,
It's
clean.
yeah, chunk that in the bay
Fuck.
and sink it.
Yeah.
Everything in it, it's a freezer on the bottom, fridge on the top.
Yeah.
There's like
Push it in the neighbor's driveway.
dude, there's
until it's first day
mold.
free.
Dude, there's mold on everything.
Oh.
All the drinks, all the beer, and
You
everything.
can't
in the
touch
top.
Yeah, you're getting diseases.
So we go to Home Depot. It's the only fucking place in town.
Right.
Well, we're down there for a couple days, and we're looking at, and we're saying, "Oh, dude, this is a fucking badass. This is a badass fucking fridge right here. This is the fridge that we need. We're gonna buy this fridge." Well, guess what? We can't. There's no way in the rental car we can't. We rented a fucking C6, C8.
Yeah.
We're gonna C8.
Can't get a vet. You can't get a
Can't put a
fridge.
fridge in
Are you
a
sure?
C8. Dude,
Did you check the front?
We
Hey.
thought it was a Ferrari in our defense when we rented it.
No, we did not. We fucking Turo'd a fucking C8 just to piss him off because he wants a C8
Oh, he
so
wants
bad.
one?
So I Turo rental one. It was cheap, dude. It's fucking cheap.
Yeah.
White?
Fucking-
What's that?
What color was it?
It's blue. It was
blue.
fucking like Miami blue.
Dude, I'm telling you, people really like him. People love Jeremy. I run into
So
people
I
all the time.
rent this thing just to fuck with him because I'm like, yeah, dude, it's actually pretty fucking cool. Like,
Fucking asshole. Fucking top down.
there's some good pictures.
Yeah.
I keep sending him fucking pictures of me in this fucking C8. Right. So, but obviously you can't fit a fucking refrigerator in it.
I
So we
think
get
you
down
could.
there. I'm like,
You can
fuck.
strap it to the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at any rate, we look at the. I'm like, Phil, take a fucking picture of it. It's on sale, and I'm gonna come. I'll be back here, and I'll just get it when I come back. So he takes a fucking picture. We look at it. It's in the middle of all the fucking refrigerators, right? So I come back, and I am like methodical, right? When I come back, I'm vacation with the family, and I need to get away from the family because that's where I go up. I fucking work out in the morning. I go to fucking Home Depot, and I'm like, hey, listen, I want this refrigerator and I want this freezer. It's like a little bait freezer, like a chest type freezer.
Perfect.
So I buy it and it gets delivered. Fucking shows up at the house. I'm like, this is great timing because the garbage is coming tomorrow. So I'm going to pull all the fucking bait out. I'm going to throw it in here. It's gone. Then they're taking the other the other refrigerator. I'm like, that's great because these sorry motherfuckers are going to end up with this fridge combo that smells like shit. I get it. I load it up. Next morning, I'm like ready to go out and have some fucking fun. Everything is frozen, right? Everything's fucking frozen. And my buddy had come down with me. So he's standing there and he's like, dude.
You bought a freezer.
He's like, you bought a fucking freezer. I'm like, and I'm like, dude, fuck you. I didn't buy a fucking freezer.
Did I?
And then yes. And then I'm like, oh fuck, did I? But
Dude.
you're not gonna say that. You're not gonna be like,
It's probably a setting.
yeah,
Oh, it's gonna be a setting under there.
dude, exactly.
It's underneath on the
Turn it off
bottom.
a freeze.
So
Yeah, look on the back.
both my wife and daughter are down there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's right here. It's a fucking. There's a setting. Like turn it on. It's got like coldest and cold. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah, frozen or
Do
less
you want this to
frozen?
be a freezer or
So I'm like-
I've seen those all the time. You're like freezer or
Right.
refrigerator. You could just
So I'm like-
select.
They've got the glass in
Turn
the
it
front
up.
that you can just kind of reach
dude,
through sometimes.
hey, honest to God, it was shortly after that. I Google it, and I've never been so defeated
Oh,
in my fucking lifetime.
Did you not look at the picture?
Well,
So, yes or no?
no.
Okay.
you realize nowhere in the description it said
It's a-
refrigerator.
Well, yeah, no, it clearly said fucking freezer. in the description. So I'm like, oh, motherfucker. So I'm weighing out all the scenarios.
Well, the scenario is you have a freezer downstairs now.
Yeah.
That's the scenario.
and
Two
what?
freezers.
So
Throw some steaks in there and call it good.
like, what do I arrive at? I figure
You
like,
throw it in the ocean.
I say, no. You say, hey, Lindsay, my wife, you have to call Home Depot. This is a fucking problem. Like, they didn't tell me that this was not a refrigerator.
You're gonna blame it on them. You're gonna blame it on them.
Yeah.
Dude, no, you're gonna have to take the fucking loss. You eat the freezer.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you purchased the
No,
freezer.
you don't.
Wrongly.
Because it worked, right? When
Dude, Costco or Home Depot, you get away with anything.
I put
Don't
it on
matter.
her, and they're like, "Oh my god,
That's what's wrong with America.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No,
right?
you just have a freezer now. You
No,
bought it.
I had a freezer. No, then I had two freezers.
But even worse, he could have just let this totally slide
Dude, I'm
because
not.
we weren't there.
That
But
just goes to show my honesty, right?
Yeah.
I could have totally let it fucking
I
slide.
respect
Or a
that.
guilty conscience.
No,
No.
it's honesty. I've told you about losses that I
Yes.
haven't wanted
It
to
was
tell
a
you.
Dude, it was a huge loss.
It's a huge loss.
It
If
was
you take a loss,
massive fucking loss.
do you know why? Do you know why we tell each other about the loss, even though there's no reason they should ever know about it? I know I do, and I know he does, because I want
On the business side, you mean?
just in life,
No,
Okay,
just in life.
Oh, gotcha.
Stupid things.
Yeah, just a stupid.
Loss.
I need the punishment because it needs to hurt.
Yeah.
You're a little sadomasochist.
Well,
I think
No,
you
but
wanna feel
because
it, dude.
because
You
I
wanna
need to
feel it.
learn from my mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
I can't learn from a mistake that I hid from everybody.
Sure.
I don't like it. It hurts, but you're gonna have to slap my hand, and it's gonna suck. And now, I guarantee you, how many times are you gonna look if it's a freezer or fridge from now on out?
Pretty
Once
much
every 7 to 10
single
years.
time I open the fridge at home now, I like check the temperature of everything. I'm like,
Is this a freezer?
That's awesome.
you can't pretend like you don't have any exposure to this. You were there.
I don't remember I remember taking a picture of it. I don't remember what it was. I assumed
Okay.
it was a fridge.
I'm not putting
Did you
it.
use
I'm not
that
pinning
part
it.
number? You're
Yes.
like, this is the exact
Yes,
part number?
I did. It was in the same fucking place in the middle of all the other refrigerators. I'm not pinning it on you, but I'm giving you like 15% of the
I'll take
responsibility.
15% of it if I can give you a hard time for the other
Yeah.
85.
So it got swapped out.
It got swapped out.
That's fucking wrong.
Yeah, I know it was wrong. I felt fucking guilty. That's why I didn't do it myself. That's why. Yes. That's why I had my wife do it. It's like,
Those dudes are like, you made us fucking
it's like,
take.
dude, it's fucking insane.
This is the same guy that had the stinky ass fridge. We got to go back and
Yeah.
swap out because he's too
Dude,
stupid
but
to buy a
and
refrigerator.
At the same time, I'm thinking about like, dude, you guys loaded this fucking bait fridge basically in the back of your fucking.
Oh, it's like a whale's ass. That's got that's fucking
I've never,
horrible.
Hey, listen, I've never imagine. So the power went out is what happened. The power went out at the house for like months, and there's just fucking squid
How's the
and
power
bait
go out for months?
and
Dude,
because
squid-
Electrical
it popped
issue popped
a
the breaker.
master
Oh, in the house.
breaker.
Oh.
Yeah, and so
Squid
Fuck.
in an hour
Oh, yeah.
is not good.
Oh, yeah.
you've never smelled. It smelled fucking.
Yes, like a whale's vagina. I guarantee
I
you
don't know,
that's
yeah, I don't know what that smells like.
like
Like
full.
San Diego.
Not good. Yeah,
Wow.
but we got through it.
Luckily, since COVID, I can't smell, so I'm
Yeah,
good.
but there's a
You have full
I
blown
lost
lost
mine
your
too,
smell.
dude.
Did you really?
Yeah, like 95%.
I haven't
of it's
lost
gone.
mine. I'm good. I can still
COVID?
smell.
Some smell, yeah.
That's because-
Can't smell shit.
Did you get COVID?
Yeah.
You did?
Well, I never got tested, but I must have had something
you-
because
yeah, you
I
look
got
like a
no
guy that
fucking
got COVID.
smell anymore.
yeah, I can't smell anything.
Wow,
It was
you
great.
got it too.
You still can't smell anything.
I could smell barbecue and like grilling and good things, like just food related. That's it. Nothing else
Really?
I can't smell. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's very marginal.
I've been
scenes.
sitting on the couch and the dog has like shit in the house, and my wife and kids will come home and be like, "Oh, what is that?"
That's
I
not
have
that
no idea. Yeah, it's not horrible.
But you can't smell good things?
Very few.
Was your
Like,
taste messed up?
taste was not.
Wow. Yeah, mine
Just smell.
got licked a little bit. My taste too. Never came back too much.
You guys are
And like-
Obviously,
fucking-
neither of you guys were smoking
What?
menthol cigarettes.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, should have been, huh? You got,
I
any,
never got COVID.
you got any extra?
Hey, yeah, I got a whole pack. I got a carton in the truck. You want to get a fucking carton?
I'll
I'll smoke a
ship us
carton
over
of
the border
cigarettes.
to get
tonight.
'em.
I'll try one with
Is
you
it-
after this.
Is it time for
Maybe it'll fix me.
celebratory?
No, not yet.
I'm going to get it. I want a tattoo. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be something to commemorate.
For what?
I never got
Yeah,
fucking
Josh
COVID.
never got COVID. Not once.
Never.
Never got COVID.
Not once. Not one time. I swear. Not once.
Never got a little cold or something.
No, I never got COVID.
Wow.
I got sick before, and I went and got tested because I wanted to prove the point that I never got COVID. So I had to have proof.
Yeah, that proof.
It came full circle, though, dude. There's a lot of talk about menthol cigarettes.
You guys give
No
me a lot of
shit.
shit.
Not
You guys give me a lot of
COVID.
shit. You give it enough time. How many of my wild theories have came back to be true?
2.
3 as of today. When you brought to my office.
Dude, a lot of my Italian families smoked till the day they died. And then no problem.
Magazine heard.
Oh, yeah. The Wheel Hub article.
It's out of control.
What?
I wish going from now, right now, going forward, would you just give me a little bit more benefit of the doubt?
Oh, I absolutely will.
Okay.
Like, if you came and you're like, dude, you know what you need to do is you need to eat raw fucking burgers. Moving forward,
It's gonna
you're
be
like,
the cure.
you're like, it's just what I eat, raw fucking burgers. Like, absolutely, like, just raw, cold meat. I would honestly, like, I'd probably take your advice.
There was
You've had some
I
fucking
wouldn't
wins.
because I know with that
You've had
great
some
power
fucking
comes
wins.
great responsibility.
Dude, you've had some big fucking wins.
the COVID thing happened,
Huge
and
wins.
you know,
You can't talk about it too much because this is gonna.
well, yeah,
No, I
the
think it is
pandemic.
Kill the,
I think at this point they're done with that. They don't
Yeah.
fuck with
no, it
it.
still kills it.
Do they really?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
still fucking edit that shit?
Nah, Trump's in office now.
Yeah.
We're good. So there was the pandemic, right? And there was, you know, obviously it's been well documented, specifically in this podcast, about how sickly Jared got, and you know, his entire family. I mean, him and his wife specifically almost died. I mean, it was. Have you ever watched Philadelphia, the movie? Tom Hanks.
I'm not a movie guy.
Just Google search Tom Hanks in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And there's a scene in there that he's
Fucking hate you.
that is honestly what Jeremy looked like for, I would say, 2 to 3 months.
You got hammered pretty bad?
Yeah, it's legitimately,
It's
he
not-
almost died.
Like, it's
It was
legit
bad.
Not a fucking joke. I
It's
almost
not.
died.
It's a joke now.
It's a joke, yeah.
Funny.
It's funny now. And in his defense, in all seriousness, it was that serious
It's out
where,
of my fucking control, man.
yeah, well, that
It
has nothing to do with,
It was way worse than like a bad cold or something?
oh,
You know, I was in the fucking hospital for like 2 weeks.
Oh.
no,
On
this was
oxygen.
Oh,
my
you had
wife,
one-
my wife and Kyle, his brother-in-law. We were taking care of the kids. This was back and
Oh,
forth. Like
shit.
we were literally, there was talks of like, holy, I mean, I
Yeah, y'all got worried.
between me and you, like I was fucking scared, right?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
want to lose my friend,
Sure.
right? I was worried. Now, between me and him, I'm like, you're a fucking bitch, right? Like, what? You're not gonna let this fucking China virus fucking. Are you serious? You're telling me because it's too hard to breathe, you're not gonna live anymore. So because breathing has gotten too much for you,
Well, we
you're gonna
talked-
stop living.
We actually, I feel like I talked about it on the
We
podcast
talked about it a couple times.
because my path to surviving was literally from him fucking bullying me, right? Because,
Oh, I said the speech I was gonna give at his fucking funeral.
dude, I'm no fucking joke. I swear to fucking God, I thought I was gonna die.
You had nothing left.
I thought I was gonna fucking die. So first, it was like they were dropping like flies, right? We're sitting there. My fucking wife gets it like horribly, and she's so fucking ill, and she's pretty fucking tough, right? And she has to go to the fucking hospital. So they admit her to the hospital. They put in a fucking ambulance, and they transport her, right? And then I'm at home with just the 2 kids. 2 kids are young, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, no, it's all fucking good. And it just went fucking sideways, right? And it got to the point where I'm like, dude, this is so like, this is so fucking bad. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but when you reach that point where you're like, I honestly think I'm going to fucking die. Like, I'm kneeling on the side of the bed, and I'm like, this is the fucking end. And there were, like, two things that crossed my mind. Is one, it's like, this motherfucker's going to fuck with me. No, and I'm like, I'm not 100%. Going out like that. Yeah. And then the other one's like, dude, just, like, don't let this happen to me. It's like, you're thinking yourself, you're like, how the fuck is this? Don't let this fucking happen to me. But at the same time, it's like, there is no motherfucking way that I'm going to let him poke fun at me for this fucking kick in my ass. Dude, so it's
a benefit.
So you feel like you found another gear?
I, honest to God, I'm not even fucking kidding. Like, bullying literally got me through COVID. I swear I could have fucking died. I swear I could have fucking died. And it was like, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking hard.
Yeah,
it was motherfucking way.
I was done with it.
Yeah.
It was
No, this was before you even knew.
Yeah,
but
it
I'm
was.
like, I'm sitting there, I couldn't fucking breathe. I'm like it was as close to death as I feel like
100. Like,
and your wife was in the hospital.
She was already in the hospital.
Dude, it was the biggest thing at our house because, like, my wife and his wife are close. Obviously, me and Jeremy are close, right? We're all close, right? But them two are the fittest, most fit people that I've ever known.
His
right?
wife.
His wife is super fit. In this instance, he's been always, even to this day, he's been more fit than me, right? I'm obviously better looking, but more fit, right? So when this happens, we're like, this is new, this is fresh, right? You don't have any of this history that we've got now, right? This is happening, like, holy shit! If they're dealing with it this bad, they're way more healthy and fit than we are, right? So it's a freak out moment, right? We're worried about the kids, we're worried about them, they're fucking friends, right? No bullshit aside. It's a fucking problem.
Scary deal.
Like, super scary. Whatever you need, fucking, we're doing this, we're doing that. Well, then, as we get through that and like, all right, fuck, it's, it's starting to like transition now. He's still on oxygen, but he's out of the hospital and stuff.
Yeah, that was after the whole fucking situation.
That was after the situation. It's like, all right, he's going to probably make it, right? But again, I haven't still gotten it. But that's not that's for later on in the story, right? But I haven't. It's just for everybody listening. I haven't gotten it yet. Frame of reference. But then, it's been well documented how you probably should have just stayed home, right? It was a lot. You had a lot of stuff to deal with, right? With the oxygen in the tank. They give you.
I was coming back to work, though. Give me a fucking little bit of credit.
I'll give you credit for coming back to work. However, just shorten the fucking hose, right? There's no sense in having 6 miles of. But you can snip it. Yeah. You could snip it. Honestly, okay. You came with a fucking reel, 100-mile reel of hose, right, for your oxygen tank. However, we get through that. They're giving me shit, because shortly later Phil gets it, not near as bad, but he has first.
It was a long afternoon.
Anyway,
can't smell
stuff starts going on, I'm being cautious because just as soon as I go hard on not getting it is when I get it and fucking die from it, right? So I float things out of that. I haven't, gotten it, and so we start making stuff. I make the joke about menthol cigarettes and whiskey, right? I'm like, well, I've been smoking menthol cigarettes since I was 14 years old. So around that time, I start seeing stories, right? You can go back and look at history. Right about that time is when, out of nowhere, right? We have a worldwide pandemic. We have no idea if the world's even going to survive this pandemic. And out of nowhere, there's initiatives of like, oh, just by the way, I know that like another 100 million people have died from COVID. California just banned menthol cigarettes, and they just slide that in there. I was like,
oh, that's weird.
That's an interesting thing to do right now with everything else that's going on, right? So you start seeing stuff that pop up. So I full blown made the case that menthol cigarettes are single-handedly the thing that have kept me from getting COVID. And I've told them that. And it just was probably in the last 6 to 8 months there's been multiple, not just one, multiple reports that have came out that have linked smoking menthol cigarettes as the cure or the antibody or kept people from getting COVID.
You believe?
100% believe it.
It was nicotine, not menthol cigarettes.
No, strictly menthol cigarettes.
Sure?
I'll
Menthol
find this.
specifically.
I'll find the stories and send them to you. 100% menthol cigarettes, but that's just one in the many
At any
of the
rate,
things.
like I think the moral of the story.
I haven't gotten COVID. That's obviously the moral of the story.
There's two takeaways from this.
Bullying is positive
Bullying is positive.
for
Bullying-
adults. For adults,
Yes, bullying for adults saved my life.
yeah.
And
For kids, it's a bad thing.
It's
For kids, it's a
terrible
bad
for
thing.
kids, but bullying as a full-blown adult, it's the reason I'm still here. And the other is that it's quite possible that smoking menthol cigarettes
May have a health benefit
yeah,
somewhere.
maybe.
Just for we're gonna go to standard questions as a frame of reference, right?
Yeah.
As holistically speaking, as long as you've known me, both of you, would you say out of all of my wild, outlandish stories or conspiracy theories or business ideas, out of all of those, would you say we are positive or negative on those?
You're positive.
And I'm batting over 500.
There's one we still can't really explain.
Which is that?
Which one?
Your wives can't explain it either. You know which one.
Oh, it's a $1 billion idea.
If it can be put
it's
into
a $1
words.
billion idea.
Which is that?
Yeah, you know, the pants that also
Oh.
is
Well, we're working on
Yeah.
we're working on that.
Okay, that's still yet to be
But no,
determined.
I will.
Besides that, I'll
Yeah, that's
begrudgingly give you the win.
that's the biggest win that I will ever give you. Like, yes, hands down.
They seem outlandish. They seem like
You've
they
got
never
some-
work.
Yeah.
Give it a little time, and hindsight's always 20. And maybe I'm just a future seer. Now,
when
one
you put it that way, it makes a lot more sense.
one had a short-lived. We'd be wrapping that one up about now, but
There's inherent flaws in a lot of them.
no, it's just
There will
timing.
come a time and place
Timing.
where we can talk about it.
All right, standard questions. First up, the OG best advice you've ever received.
Best advice. Well, there's a lot of faith-based ones that I hang my hat on every day, but outside of trusting in the Lord, I would say I was told by one of my mentors that if you can align your passion with a hard work ethic, then he worded it as success is right around the corner. And I'm a firm believer of that. You know, like if you can chase your passion and bust your ass, then whatever success means to you is achievable. You can find it. You know.
That's good. Favorite car movie?
Car movie. I'm not a big movie guy. The only one I can really remember that's had an impact on me is Gone in 60 Seconds. Because that's just probably one of the only ones. I'm not a big movie guy, dude. I haven't sat down and watched a bunch of movies.
That's
You got other
probably,
shit to do. You don't have 2 hours to kill.
I don't know. I don't know. I would fall asleep so goddamn fast. You know?
that's probably worth a rewatch. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Same here. I could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 10 years, probably, right?
Yeah, I don't even know if my kids have seen it.
It's been a while.
Good fucking movie though.
I
That
just
was
remember that one making
That was
an
Nick
impact.
Cage's prime.
Cage was in it. What the fuck?
Yeah.
happened? What?
Angelina, though. Who cares about Nick? That was
ask-
her prime.
That's
Oh,
Michael
yeah,
Bryan.
she's
He's
a
a
baddie,
huge
dude.
Nick Cage fan.
Is he really?
Michael Bryan's a new. Really?
Huge, yeah.
Oh, really?
I can see that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Michael was his background and screensaver for quite some time of random Nicolas Cage pictures.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a tidbit that I didn't expect to get.
I will let you guys work that one out.
All right. Next up. Favorite law enforcement interaction story?
It's funny because, I was the dude that like never got caught for like I don't know. I never got caught, but
Must be nice.
I never, dude, never. I was always involved. I never personally had a law enforcement problem on my end. Always got away clean, or was the passenger and or bailed soon enough, or whatever. The only one I can think of where we actually got caught and got in trouble. So my best friend Dylan, his mom, growing up, had she had a cop car, like a Marquis,
Nice.
And oh yeah, dude, those cars work good. So we used to jump in her rig all the time, like when we first got our licenses, and we go mobbing around and have some fun. I remember we were
Fake pull people over.
Oh, you can pull people over so easy just by flashing the lights, just by the bright lights.
no, we didn't have freaking lights on it. It was just a cop stop.
No, but
car.
just-
Just to flash the brights.
You flash the
flash the
brights,
brights?
they pull it over
Or you just
instantly.
ride
No, but
people
we-
fast on the highway.
And we both
You
had
see
friends
Mar-
with the same cars.
You see Marcus's new ride?
Yeah, he's
Is it
different.
the tan and
Yes.
brown Charger?
Yes.
It's a state trooper car.
Who's that?
A
We got a
guy that
here.
works for us.
Oh.
He's fucking tan and brown Charger.
Indiana State Trooper.
Oh,
car.
like a
State trooper car.
like a 2010 Charger
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Nah.
I think I saw it out there.
Yeah, you did.
I think I saw it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's right there in the front for everybody to
Everybody
see.
that drives those should have the shit kicked out of them.
I don't know. So
Like we have 3 employees with cop cars.
Well,
really,
Yeah, lots of cop cars in the parking lot. All right, so your mom had the Grand Marquis.
my
Your-
buddy's
your
mom.
buddy's mom
yeah,
had
so,
the Grand
so
Marquis.
we were joyriding it a little bit, and we ended up in this cul-de-sac, and we hucked a couple donuts, and then you know how it is when you're young, man. You start getting carried away, and we were literally just matted in 4th gear, standing still in the cul-de-sac, just
getting it.
fucking burning the tires off this thing. There's a smoke cloud or whatever, and when you're 16, dude, those are the best days of your life.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, man. Like
Yep.
you guys remember that feeling. So we bailed out of the cul-de-sac and dipped, and we're looking back like, yeah, look at the cloud. And then so we're driving down the street, and a cop lights us off, and we're probably 2 miles from where we did a burnout at this point, and a cop lit us up. I'm like, what the hell? There's no way it could be from back there, right? So he pulls us over, hey officer, and then he tells my buddy, just wait here. We just need to wait for a second. And here comes this bike cop from 2 miles away. He was in the park at the cul-de-sac.
Bicycle cop?
Bicycle cop.
Oh, yeah.
And he's pedaling. He's had to ride his bike 2 miles now to come to the scene, and he's pissed, man. He was
He's
so
fucking
hot.
Yeah, he's pissed because he's on a bike.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he's always pissed when he goes to work. He's on a
Right?
bike.
Yeah, so we got an expedition to speed ticket that day. One of the multiple ones that my buddy, like I said, I never got one, man. It was always my buddy Dylan or one of my other homies that got in trouble.
Could you imagine being a
Bike cop. I was just thinking the same thing.
Do you imagine being a bike cop, dude?
I've said it. I've
Oh.
gone on record. Talking
Go
about.
on record again.
Easy because Justin was a bike cop for quite some time.
No, he wasn't a bicycle
he
cop.
was.
No,
Yeah,
he wasn't.
He rode a Trek 10 speed. He had the
The
black cargo shorts.
You're gonna have to deal with that because
Fine.
Justin was never a bike cop.
He was a
but
bike
I've gone on record talking about the people that serve in our military and specifically and our cops, right? And how much respect that I give to them, right? A bike cop, like seriously. I mean, if you show up and they're like, "Hey, by the way, just letting you know, starting out, your job is to ride a bike and also fight crime." Dude, absolutely not.
Is that your choice though? Can you quit or you just?
There's no
You're
way
still
they
putting
assign
in
that to
service.
somebody.
Dude,
Dude,
there's-
There's no
You think
way.
that's a voluntary position?
Oh, I go. I
There's no
They don't-
way there anybody's like, excuse me, if nobody's signed up for the bicycle police officer, I would like
it's
to.
assigned.
It has to be.
No way, dude.
Dude, that's bottom of the
Dude,
fucking
some people
barrel.
like to ride
no,
bikes. And
no,
don't
no,
think, huh?
no.
We'll
If
talk to Justin. And see.
yeah,
I would love to know about that. Dude,
ride
I'd
a
be
fucking
so
horse.
fucking pissed if I was a
How
cop and
can
got
you
picked for that.
fucking
Yeah.
Take that seriously.
oh, dude, if there's no way. Honestly, I'll make the statement, and I mean, you know what? We're 3 hours into
we're
it. We've
deep
drank
into
enough.
it.
Nobody's
Yeah, we're
listening.
deep into it.
If you're riding a bicycle, you're not a real cop.
No, there's yes. I will absolutely fucking agree with that.
You might have all the other tools that says you're a real cop. If you step off the bike, hide the bike behind the bushes, and walk up to me, okay, you're a real cop.
Toss the
But
fucking bike.
if you're riding a 10-speed, I'd be fine with a fucking Segway. At least we're in modern era, right?
It's still a little.
It is, but I'm fine. At least there's nothing in 2020, whatever year, 2025, that necessitates a bicycle.
No.
It could be a bird scooter, and you'd be better than a bicycle.
Yeah, a little more dangerous.
Yeah, there should
Well,
be, there
no,
should be
if just don't one-hand it. It's fine. You just can't shoot from the scooter. You just
there should be no scenario, right? There's just no scenario where there should be.
And honestly, like you're coming full circle, like talking this through. You could be right because every single one of them has the same look, and they do that. They don't.
They're bike dudes.
It's not a full skid out, but it's like they wanted to do a skid out. It's like a.
It's just
It's-
but they're not that edgy, dude.
They're not that edgy, but it's
skid it out.
it's
No,
turn. And it's
got
always
10
the
degrees.
reverse ram horns and thing,
it's like
and
a
it's
light-
the little pointed thing.
Yeah, it's a light like like when they hit the brake.
I love my police officers, and I hope the
Yes,
real
I do
ones.
too.
I hope the real ones are with me.
But whatever you've done to place yourself on a fucking bicycle,
Yeah.
If you can't outrun a bike cop,
yeah. I'm not stopping for a fucking bike cop ever. And never. No, there's no fucking scenario.
it's gonna be.
I'm gonna
great video this.
I'm gonna
summer.
be with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, on foot.
Try to fucking pull me over on a bicycle. Oh, fuck you.
I just want to flash right now to seeing you getting tackled by a bike cop. That's all I want to say.
Dude, easy.
I'm a real police officer.
I've got a truck.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, I think people are agreeing with us. Last but not least, car. How old are you right now?
34.
34.
We're going for a car.
Youngin.
We're going to talk through it and see. We might not have anything. I've got a little bit of something, but I'm going to have to talk. I'm going to have to get through
I can
there.
give you a little insight on it.
No, we don't.
No, I-
We gotta ask.
We're going to ask some questions first, right?
Tell you my story how I got it.
Yeah, hint at something.
In a little something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna help at all. I was 15, driving in the neighborhood. Me and my pops saw it. It's an older car, and he bought it. It had a V8 platform and a 4-speed transmission.
You turn. Oh, stop. Stop. You're giving away too much.
Yeah,
You graduated in what, 2004
it's
or
a
5?
Fucking Buick.
High
for
school?
Sure.
Yeah.
09.
Old man's into the Buicks.
No, we said V8 4-speed. He's from New York, Italian. That's a Fox body.
No,
Oh,
no, it's
you're
not.
100% right. It's a fucking Capri.
No, this was in Arizona though. It wasn't in New York.
Arizona.
He said as soon as he said 4-speed V8. Well, before he started, when I said I have something, I was thinking Fox body already.
IROC.
I
Not
used to
4-speed.
I used
Wear a
to-
lot of
I used to
cologne.
no lift shift this son of a bitch around the neighborhood before I even had my
And it
license.
All right.
survived.
What year did you
Barely.
graduate?
No, we popped it at one point, but
You graduated what? 99?
09.
So you got your license in 96, 97?
No, 2009. I
You're
graduated
10
high
years
school.
off.
No, 2007. That's what you hear what I'm saying.
Yeah,
2007.
Dude, it's old
yeah,
though.
2007.
It's old.
Yeah,
it's old,
well,
yeah.
that's what a Fox body would be in 2007.
Dad was into fucking Buick.
V8 4-speed older.
It's an odd car. It's an odd car.
Fuck.
Buick Riata.
No.
Not that odd.
Old.
But I had to reel it in a little bit, but
Dude, I don't have it.
You don't have nothing.
Yeah, the 4-speed's throwing me.
Not even.
Fuck. I'm running through all kinds of crazy scenarios in my head.
I think cars are a lot harder than your average person.
Yeah, but it's still fun to play with. Wow, older car, V8, 4-speed.
You two are like
Jeremy takes it
Yeah,
all
I'm trying-
serious.
yeah,
dude.
I'm thinking
he's
it's,
digging.
Is it possible?
I want to
Is it-
say Mark 8, but I don't think they did them
the only
four
thing,
speed.
dude. The only thing I can think it's like a clean ass Buick T type, like like not.
They didn't do
not-
4-speed though, wasn't it? It'd been a TKO 5-speed at that point, right?
4-speed manual, dude.
Oh, a 4-speed manual.
4-speed manual.
4-speed manual transmission.
4-speed manual.
Shit. So that's
probably
an old
jumps it
fucking car. That's an
10,
old car.
15
It's an old
years
car.
further back.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, I mean, you're going back to like late 70s. Late 70s. Let's
It's a 60s Galaxy.
Let's hone in on
There,
there.
I'm gonna
It's a
go.
60s Galaxy.
Late 70s or later?
It's earlier.
Oh,
60s Galaxy. Early 60s
it's
Galaxy.
an old car then.
It's an early
Fucking
60s
old car.
Galaxy.
Shit.
I'm locking it in. Early
Early-
60s Galaxy.
gonna
I'm
go-
locking it in.
Early third gen Trans Am.
No, those are 5 speeds.
He's in
Those are 5 speeds.
Early is not.
Early 3rd gen?
tuning
Second
on
gen.
shit.
Sorry.
Okay.
He's into tuning
Second
on
gen,
shit.
maybe.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking it's a fucking like 74, like a oddball.
You're
Oddball Monte Carlo.
What's your guess?
Oh, I locked it in. Whatever
Oh, you
I
did.
said. What did I say?
I don't remember what you said.
Early 60s Galaxy.
Yeah.
You're a little closer, but
I'm going early second gen now.
yeah. It was a 302 and a top loader.
In what?
F-150 or F-100?
65 Ford Ranchero.
Ranchero. I said early 60s Galaxy.
Very close.
All right. We're getting kind of close.
Yeah, we can't figure
You
out
said car. That's
Arizona.
Oh, yeah, I might have fucked you on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You should have said a hybrid, and then we would have gotten it.
Yeah, but if you would
Ranchero.
Yeah, dude, I still got one, man. I'm going to build it one day.
Really?
Yeah. There's something about that 65 Falcon.
Ford
Ranchero,
versions
yeah.
of Nova.
Yes, exactly.
Like it's just
Who was that?
You guys wanna do a chassis
What's
for
the
it?
car version of that? The
It's a Falcon.
Falcon.
Yeah, there was a guy that
the
did
same
one,
thing.
right? Recently. Who's that dude?
they built one.
Yeah, he's not around
Steel Town.
that much anymore.
Steel Town has one of your chassis under one.
No, there's another guy. I'm trying to think of.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
That was a comment. But
Oh, it was a comment?
it was a comment. But it was just Mercury version of the Ford
Right.
Falcon that you're talking about. It was a convertible.
Got it.
Yeah, he was like, he pops up and like knocks shit out, and then like
Gone.
and then he goes someplace else. Yeah, this right here is for Benny and Troy from BBT only.
Yeah.
because they'll know exactly who we're talking about.
Okay.
And there's a few others, but yeah, that badass shop.
Okay.
flap rule.
Yeah. One day, that guy we will talk about.
I wish I knew what the fuck you all were
Yeah.
talking
Hey, we'll talk about it off camera. Yeah, that's
beautiful.
Hey, we killed the fucking bottle.
Fucking bottle
That means
kill.
it's time. It's Sharpie time. You got to autograph it.
Beautiful.
What's the next show you're going to be at?
I'm gonna try and take a breather, boss. We're gonna probably be
You got some shit to do before SEMA. That's why.
yeah, we got work to do. Well, we got to be in Texas for Good Guys for Street Machine for the Nova. So I'll probably be there.
It's end of April.
I thought it was September.
You just I just saw
Fort Worth.
Yeah.
You just-
there's a spring and fall.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
you just got Muscle Machine of the Year pick, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I meant. We got Muscle Machine pick, so we got to be at the Fort Worth show. I thought it was September, isn't it?
There's two. There's one end of April and then end of September.
Yeah, so the September ones, we got to go do the road tour and the drag race and the autocross stuff. So we'll be there.
No shows until then.
I don't think I'm. Well, yeah, I don't know.
You're gonna give a little.
Listen,
give
man.
a little something.
As far as the shows go, I like to. I'm kind of the. I like to talk about the shows when the cars are finished. I hate chasing it, man. I hate chasing the car show. So
Driven Speed Shop.
Yeah. Did you got
Shift Speed. Speed Shop. Shift _ shop. Right.
yeah, on Instagram, that's the tag. Yep.
Yeah. It's been fucking awesome, man.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Appreciate you.
man.
Yeah.
We love what you're fucking doing, dude. If you're out in the Scottsdale, Arizona area,
Yeah, just pop in unannounced and get a tour.
Yeah, no problem.
right? The fucking. But dude, absolutely killing it. And
No,
fucking
seriously.
proud of you.
Fucking absolutely. Whatever
Thank you
you
guys.
fucking need,
Yeah.
you're a part of the family now.
Appreciate y'all. It was
See
an
you
honor.
again. See you again next week.
You got it.
Thanks, man.
Hey.